16, 19, 25, 31, 41, 49, and 500 meters. The 16 frequencies on 13, 16, 19, 25, 31, 41, 49, 500 meters.
Hello, everybody. Starting the show with Radio Moscow World Service. That reminds me of a lot of things when I was a teen. Hello, everyone. Hope that everybody is fine. So that was Radio Moscow World Service interval signal from 1981 on YouTube. There's a lot of recordings on YouTube of old broadcasts. So hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. Hope that you'll enjoy today's show. This is a show about radio. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and we are live twice a week on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 20 hours Universal Time, on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 0 hours Universal Time. That makes it Wednesday for a lot of people. And we are here to talk about shortwave radio, medium wave, long wave, and just have fun with radio and share a passion, a common passion of everybody, where we help each other, have fun, and just enjoy together a hobby that, we always say it's a little solitary at times. So having this is fun because it gives an opportunity for everybody to be together and talk about radio, which is really cool. So this is really nice to do this. So I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Don't forget, for those that are fans of what's happening above 30 megahertz or are just curious about that, tomorrow is also a show, 2100 hours Universal Time, 4 p.m. Eastern, on the other channel, which is the official VHF UHF channel. And I'll talk about the discount antenna I purchased. I'll talk about, performance on VHF of the Hairspy HF Plus, and also talk about all sorts of things that are of interest and that hopefully will be fun to talk about tomorrow on the show. And I think it's going to be cool. So there's a beautiful chat room with wonderful people. If you are, if you have a Gmail account, you can log into and participate with everybody here. And it's really a lot of fun. Great gang of people that just are here to help and have fun, ask questions. You can ask any question. There is no such thing as a stupid question. We've all been there, starting at zero, not even knowing what we were doing. I bet that most of you turned on the radio once for the first time in your life, tuned around not really knowing what you were going to get. And if you're here, and especially if you're here after so many years, I guess that first time you turned on that radio, you got hooked and you were like, oh, wow, this is great and a lot of fun. So why not join in and have fun? There's also the Facebook group of the same name of the channel here, official SWL channel. We're creeping up slowly to 1,500 members. And that is also a great place where people share what they're listening to, photos of the radios, their shacks, whatever. And, no pretension here. You have a old radio, analog radio from 1960, and that's what you're using as a radio and the only one you have. That is cool. That is actually very cool. You got, $20 Texan R9012 portable analog, and that's the only radio you have, you're as welcome as anybody that has, a big gun ICOM ICR 9500 at $13,000. There's no differences here. We're not creating any differences. We're not creating any class of radio users. Also, one of the interesting aspects of that at the same time is also not separating amateur radio operators and shortwave listeners. Unfortunately, there's too many of that going on in some groups of amateur radio. Here, it's not that. Here, amateur radio operators are, of course, having fun and love seeing what shortwave radio listeners that don't have any license share and do. And sometimes they can help with their knowledge of amateur radio. And I will announce it now for those that have been waiting for the moment. There's a virtual amateur radio class coming up in April, and I have signed up officially. So it will be on the weekends for April. So I think by that time we will have our time change. So it's going to be fine, because at first it was overlapping the show on the afternoons for the Zoom meeting to learn more. But because in April we will have had our time change, we will be okay. I will have time to switch from the Saturday class of amateur radio into the live show. So for those of you out there saying, hey, you know what, you need to get that license, well, it's officially done. So it's 4 weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And then there's going to be the test for the amateur radio license. So that's going to be done. I'm waiting for the news. So I subscribed. Actually, I entered all the information on the amateur radio group. All that I'll need is to wait for the official announcement of everything. And I don't know if there's a minimum amount of people they want to have for this to happen or not, but it's going to be cool. And if everything goes as planned, I should be a licensed amateur radio operator by the summer. And of course, starting to look at how I'm going to set up an HF station, working HF station, not using the sloper, but having a dedicated HF antenna. The discount that I have is meant to be used in transmission on the 10 meters and above, all the bands, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and so on. So I'll already have an antenna for VHF. All I'll need is a decent antenna for HF. And I've been looking at a G5RV possibly. I've seen something quite interesting. There's something called the G5RV Junior, which is a smaller version so that you can set it up. Here it'll have enough space for that. So anyways, I'll keep you guys updated on that coming up. I want to talk a little bit before we start the show about the Shortwave Festival, the Winter Shortwave Festival. Usually this is something that happens in Pennsylvania. It's a gathering of fans of radio and shortwave radio in general. And it happens, of course, every year in February, where people go down to Pennsylvania and enjoy a weekend of radio sessions of all sorts and what have you. Now, because of the pandemic, this Shortwave Fest is not happening in person. It is a virtual event this year. And so this is going to happen on February the 26th and 27th, Friday and Saturday. There are several sessions already that are going to, one on VHF scanner radios, one on pirate radio. There's another one on shortwave broadcasting. Dan Robinson, which is also an ex-Voice of America guy, has a extensive radio collection. He'll be showing us all of his radios and a lot more. So it's a cost of $5 to participate, which is really, really not a lot of money. You do need to have the capability to join a Zoom meeting. So basically what's going to happen is all of that is virtual via Zoom. And you can pay with PayPal. And by the way, if you don't have a PayPal account, it doesn't matter, because through PayPal, you'll still be able, with a credit card, to pay $5 to the organizers. The $5 is to cover the fee of having the Zoom meeting. If you listen tomorrow to the International Radio Report, we have John Figliozzi, that is one of the organizers. And we are interviewing him, and he's going to talk about it a little bit on the International Radio Report tomorrow. So why not listen to that at 10:30 a.m., 14:30 UTC on CKUT.ca for the streaming. This is me and Sheldon, our little show, the International Radio Report, every Sunday. And to check out all the details, simply go to swlfest.com and check out the details. You'll be able to see what's there, and you'll be able to join, pay your $5, and participate in sessions. The Zoom meeting, the way it's going to be done is everybody's going to be muted, but there's going to be a way for you guys to ask questions if you want, and all of that. So it's a way to participate in the virtual sense to the Winter Shortwave Festival. They have more than 100 people registered as of this week. Registration, it goes on until February 15th. So remember that your deadline to send your $5 is February 15th. And this is happening February 26th and 27th. I have, of course, sent my $5. I'll be there. I'll be missing out a little bit on some of the stuff because of the live show on Saturday, but we'll be there looking at all the stuff that's happening on the Friday and part of the Saturday. So lots of stuff, lots of interesting stuff in there, and I think it's a great way to participate. And there, of course, is a possibility of, every year there's this mysterious voice of Pancho Villa that actually appears at the Shortwave Fest. And I don't know, I have a feeling that somehow, the voice of Pancho Villa once again, who knows what's going to happen? You never know. So if you like radio and want to see a little bit in a virtual way what the Winter Shortwave Festival is all about, I think it's a great way to do so, because a lot of you can't attend. Maybe a lot of you, maybe some of you don't have the means to travel to Pennsylvania and go there in person and spend a couple of days there, or for some other reason. Well, this is going to be a way to actually participate in a virtual way. So I think this is going to be cool. And why not check it out and send your $5? I mean, it's not a lot of money for 2 days of intense radio stuff. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I am going to look at something for that weekend. It's not impossible that I might, for one weekend, move my live show to the Sunday on that weekend, because I would like maybe to participate until the end to everything that's available on the Shortwave Festival stuff. So I'll probably do the show on the Sunday that weekend exceptionally, for the reason that I'd like to see everything, all the lectures and all the stuff about shortwave and about radio in general that are going to be actually presented virtually. So I'll let you guys know. Anyways, the week in advance, you'll know. But there's a good chance that I might be doing the live show on Sunday that weekend for exceptionally because of Shortwave Fest. So lots of stuff, and it's nice to have all of you here. Let me just check. I'm going to take my computer, a little tablet here, 8-inch tablet. And we're going to check the email. So if we look at email, yep. Yep. Okay. So we have Elizabeth saying hello, and she's in Regina, Saskatchewan. And she says she's listening and having a lot of fun every time. She has a couple of questions on the email, so I'm going to keep this email on here, and we'll come to your questions, Elizabeth, in a few minutes when I try to go as fast as possible through the chat room, and some interesting questions in here. I think it's going to be fun. So she says she loves the show and she hopes that I can answer these questions today live. And of course, yes, absolutely. We are going to do that. So welcome aboard, Elizabeth. You're always welcome. It's always nice to have you. And she's in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. We have in the chat room Matt, MDK2. Nice to have you here in Denver, Colorado. We have Bobby Burgess, WA5107SWL in Morgan City, Louisiana, USA. And by the way, for all of those that will ask eventually, I have some red wine today, a little French wine. So cheers, everybody. And here we go. Pretty good. Once again, these are the wines that are actually kind of a selection of the guys at the liquor store. They do a selection every month of some of their favorite wines, and pretty good. Glenn, nice to have you on board, my friend. Nice to have you here as usual. No problem at not being able to stay. There are other things in life than watching Gilles on the internet, and I do grasp that there's a lot more to life than just me. So nice to have you here. Michael Thompson, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. And yes, this is a SM58. Sure, Mike. And a little console here, a Audio 2000 console. So I input everything from there. So having a lot, I'm happy to have all of that to mix out everything for sure. What else do we have? Steve Miller, nice to have you here from sunny Arizona. Rob, nice to have you on board from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. So we have confirmation that it's sunny in Arizona. Two people in Arizona confirming that it's sunny. Michael Thompson says, new to the channel, loves the Facebook group. Cool. Really nice. And Michael is N2NLQ, ham operator. And he's doing some FT8 on 20 meters and using a MFJ 1786 in the attic horizontal and an ICOM IC 7300 transceiver. Jeff Williams, nice to have you here from Cornwall, UK. PLF Radio, bonjour et bienvenue. J'espère que ça va bien en France et que tout va bien de ton côté. Toujours un plaisir de t'avoir parmi nous. Nice to have you here. Trimbali, Mr. Bale, nice to have you on board from the West Coast. Joe Tyson, nice to have you here from North Carolina, KM4WRQ. Norm Akers, nice to have you here from Ohio. Nora, hey, nice to have you here. Mondo Virtual, nice to have you on board. Mondo Virtual. So PLF Radio, that was Radio Moscow in the good old days of Radio Moscow. We have Tom DX, or WPE2QED. Nice to have you here from the Hudson Valley, New York. Jay Watterson, 69. Nice to have you here. Yep, Michael Thompson, absolutely. Like a Radio Gaga song says, radio, someone still loves you. We have Trembelli, Mr. Bell. How about we investigate the 14 megahertz band today? Well, we're going to tune through that. We're going to check out what's available in the frequency range there. Here's getting late, so the sun is setting in 2 hours. And we are actually, it's nice to see that we actually got a full hour now in the evening of sunshine. So when solstice arrives on December 21st, the sun sets here in Montreal at around 4 p.m. And I was looking this morning, and it's setting at 5:08 p.m. So we got more than an hour now. Yes, times are getting a little better. We're going in the right direction. Radio Telescope, nice to have you on board. M0 ISA. We have Keegan, XN80X, nice to have you on board from Northwest Arkansas. KW1161, nice to have you on board from Tucson, Arizona. We have Steve Miller, Radio Havana, Cuba. 1966 was my first. Wow. My first real station I could identify that I heard in my life was the BBC World Service. And I was on a multi-band radio that my dad had purchased. And I was tuning around, hearing all these weird sounds. And then there was an English voice, and it was probably the top of the hour. So the voice said, "This is London." And I was like, London. But because I was a teenager and not really knowing anything about radio, and probably not even understanding that a signal from another continent can come to North America or whatever, the first innocent thought that I had was London, Ontario, Canada. No, that was BBC World Service. It was not from London, Ontario, Canada. Hector Vasquez, nice to have you here from Los Angeles, California. Reda Buka, nice to have you here. Where are you located, my friend? Yeah, I should be okay. I mean, I've did the online test so many times, and I always have a great score. So I think, the only questions that can make me fumble are the ones on the regulations, the more general regulations stuff. That's where my knowledge is not. I will need to study a little, because on the technical side, I don't think I have much of a problem there. So Justice for All, nice to have you here. I'm always fighting each other about license class. Yeah. So I know it's gonna be cool. And Michael Thompson says, I left my tech go for 20 years and got general and extra last year. Cool. That is cool. So you guys going to be happy. I will have my call sign. I'll be able to talk to you guys that are hams if you want on the ham band. But I already tell you guys, if we do have chats on the ham bands, it's either voice or one of those weird digital modes that nobody uses because I want to use them. I think that's going to be fun. I'm not saying I'm not going to do FT8 though. Of course, you got to try FT8 and dabble into FT8 stuff a little bit for sure. But I know that that's not where I'm going to stay. I'm going to be more of a guy that wants to either talk in single sideband, or I'm going to be a guy that wants to, if we have a contact, I want to chat through some of those weird digital modes that nobody ever uses. That's going to be my fun, for sure. Glenn Zeckman, nice to have you here from Tennessee. And Michael Thompson, all knowledge increases us all. Absolutely. We all learn. I learned doing this show. So you know what? I'm not the god of radio here. I have some knowledge, but I do have lots of parts of the hobby that I don't know much about, and that some of you are much more advanced than I am. And all together, we learn and we have fun. Kevin, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. Nice to have you on board. And thank you very much. Radio Telescope says, great news. Joe Tyson, nice to have you here, says, congrats. I think this is going to be cool. And Justice for All says, get on 11 meter, better than ham bands. There's for everybody in there. There's everybody in there. So pretty cool. Throw some treats Paul's way, and he might let you copy off of his test. Yeah, Paul the Cat's gonna have his own his own license, VE2CAT. Joe Tyson says, I'd recommend against the G5RV, a dipole. Yeah, I'm not set yet. I'm not set yet on exactly what I'm going to use as an antenna, honestly. I have not decided. What will decide for me is, of course, many things. The space needed in my backyard, the how easy it is for me to set up something, and so my end project for an antenna there will probably be more dependent on how I could set things up than what antenna I can necessarily use. So I'm going to be checking that out for sure. And I will be. I'm one of those that likes to just like take wire and do something. So I wouldn't even be surprised that I end up having a dipole or something that I just like went on the internet, saw the guy, and was like, okay, I'm going to do that. I have all the parts and have myself a homemade antenna rather than some purchased antenna. That would not surprise me because I'm the kind of guy that would find it kind of cool to, have my own little antenna there that I've kind of built myself, SoCal, nice to have you here from San Diego. What else do we have? Matt says, I'm registered for the virtual Shortwave Fest. Should be fun. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Absolutely. Lee Burkett, nice to have you here. I've have been adding some new receivers to the shack, and I've just won an auction on the Sangean SG622. So SJ622 shortwave receiver, and have received also some donation receivers. Cool. This is nice. You're getting the hang of it there. And really cool. Cecil, nice to have you here. Cecil Gregory from Georgia. What else do we have? Kevin, new Canadian pirate radio. Well, some pirate radio activity that comes from somewhere. I know a little bit what and where that might be coming from, but pirate secret. Ekadarius, nice to have you on board, my friend. What's the radio on my desk? This is a transceiver. It's the if you're talking about that one, it's a Yaesu FT450. So I already have a transceiver to use on the amateur bands, actually. Richard Chiquan, bonjour et bienvenue, Richard, VE2NM. And I think I'm going to do well. I don't think I'm going to do well. So I'm going to be checking that out. Trimmelli, Mr. Bell, hopefully Paul the Pur ball will show up today. Yeah, that's up to him to decide if he actually gets out of the bed. So he always goes and he likes to. I have my bathrobe that I never use, that I always leave on the bed because he likes to go underneath and just stay there for a few hours. So I think he's cuddled up in there right now. What else do we have? But no problem, Kadarius. Mad Radio DXer, nice to have you here from the UK. Everybody's saying hello to Elizabeth. KW1161 Shortwave Fest. Is that the place in Pennsylvania where the DXer sees their shadow? There is 6 more weeks of winter DXing. Yeah, pretty much it. It's that place. You wake up a DXer in the morning. If he sees his shadow, you will have 6 months of great propagation. I was joking on Facebook this week about the when they were doing the um, that thing where they take the man, I forgot the name. Anyways, forget it. RA Brawler, Arkansas. Nice to have you on board. Michael Thompson, no alcohol. It's perfect. No problem. People can drink coffee, hot chocolate, whatever. It's great. David, KJ4CMY. Drink of choices, chocolate milk. Cool. I like chocolate milk, but I don't have some because I would drink too much of it. For me, chocolate milk is funny because there's the souvenir of chocolate milk for me goes with going up north when my dad had a shack in La Concepcion. Because for some reason, I would always purchase some chocolate milk when I would go there. For some reason, it was like my little thing for going up north. Mark Elford, howdy, Shortwave listeners, coming from the Vancouver Island, home of terrible shortwave reception, I would guess. Canadian radio TV guy. Can you turn that one into a shortwave radio? Yeah, I don't have those powers, unfortunately. If it would be the case, I would be turning that one into a lot of radios. You would probably not see me. You would see just radios, and there would be like a little square I put my face in between the radios. Kathleen, nice to have you here from Germany. Video looks great. This is a new webcam. No, same thing, same setup. I just, I don't tweak much of the lighting of the window, and because it might have been sunny, I've tweaked the, but it's the same. I just changed the angle. The angle is a little different than what usually I am using as an angle. Actually, you guys don't see. I need to change the place of that plate here. The on the air is unfortunately blocked. Maybe I could do a little move here, but kind of difficult actually. Yeah, do it more like this. But unfortunately, the on the air sign is not visible today. I need to fix that for the show tomorrow. I'm gonna actually put it maybe here in the back. I was thinking of putting it there in the back because we always see this part and there's nothing there. So that's going to be a better place for it, for sure. Human721, nice to have you here. iMapper, nice to have you on board from Moscow. It says drinking wine too. So cool. And a cold Moscow. Here it's rather warm today. It was about zero earlier, but it's going to get colder as the week goes by. We're going to go and dip down to like minus 15. Ken Surtees, nice to have you on board from the UK. Kathleen, one question. Does the antenna cable length affects the resonant frequency? Do you mean the cable that you feed the radio through the antenna, or the length of the cable, the antenna itself? If it's the antenna itself, depending on the length of the wire, for example, yes, it changes the resonance of resonant frequency of the antenna. So technically, the longer the wire, the lower it resonates in frequency. So it all depends on the setup. There's a lot of things that affect the resonance of a antenna. Its length, but also sometimes the way it's set up can distort the resonance. But usually, yes, that's why there's different lengths. You know, if you look at, that's why, for example, that medium wave stations need such big land in antennas, because they're so low in frequency that they actually need those really huge antennas to really give a powerful signal and resonate at the frequency they are broadcasting on, compared, say, to 10 meters. That's why we have actually we have wavelength. Wavelength reflects the resonance of the frequency. So when we say 10 meters, technically 10-meter wire, technically, that would be positioned correctly and would have 10 meters of length, would resonate around 30 megahertz, just above the 10 meter band. We call it 10 meters because we just, use the closest that we have. I mean, like 14 megahertz isn't exactly 20 meters. It's like 21 meters, but 20 meters is around 15 megahertz where WWV is, but we kind of rounded to the closest, 5 or 10. So, we did 10, 20, 10, 15 or 12, or, we just use the closest that we have. But that tells you, the wavelength tells you that depending on the length of the cable, it changes the resonance of the frequency. So usually the longer you have, the lower it will resonate in the frequency range. If you're talking about the feed-in line, technically, if you are set up correctly, the resonance comes from the antenna outside, and what you have in feed line is only taking what that antenna receives and sends it to the radio. But it's not impossible, the way that it's set up, that sometimes the cable, if you don't set it up right, that the cable that's coming in changes the resonance of the antenna that's outside. So, what else do we have? Blind Picker, nice to have you here. WR0RAB, Rob in Connecticut, nice to have you on board. Human 721, we'll have some questions about radios on this stream. Absolutely, we are here for that. Canadian Radio TV guy, Canada killed the radio star in 2012. Epimetheus, nice to have you on board. Randy in Riverside, California. Simplio, nice to have you here from Oklahoma. Stephen Wood from Cape Cod. We have Wizard of Oz from northern Wisconsin, where it's cold. Nice to have you here, Ozzy. KC9TVN. PLF Radio says, I experienced the serial code today in my location. Sand from Sahara in the sky. Oh, okay. I didn't know what that name was. The sky was orangey, and the atmosphere was also orangey. It was beautiful. Yeah, it happens. It happens sometimes even here. Well, not up here in Montreal, but the East Coast of North America, and especially like the East Coast of the U.S. and the more southern parts of the U.S. sometimes actually have that phenomena where the Sahara desert sand will actually cross the Atlantic Ocean and change the looks of the sky. Here, mostly in Montreal, what will change the look of the sky and make it weird, mostly will be forest fires. It was like, I think it was last year that there was these really, really huge forest fires on the west coast of the U.S. And I mean, a few days we had some very bizarre looking weather, and it was due to all the smoke coming from there. The radio, nice to have you here. Where are you located? Joe Laturco, nice to have you here from Rochester, New York. Michael Thompson, first ID was Radio Canada International. It was like 7. That was it. It all started. Oh, man. Simplio says, I installed some 18-gauge copper wire for shortwave reception. It's working. Cool. What else do we have? Yeah, wasn't there a contest this weekend on RTTY? I think I saw there was a contest or something on RTTY for the handbands this weekend. Yeah, there must be, because there's a lot of it. Yeah, look at that. So that's definitely some RTTY. If you guys want to check out that, Right now, there's a lot of signals between 14,080 and 14,100, and even a little higher. You could use FLDG software, and you choose RTTY 45 in the menu for the mode settings. You should technically be able to decode that. Contests can be boring for some because the only thing that they do is exchange call signs and signal. But I like that because sometimes you receive those unusual signals from countries. I remember, I think it's last year, going through a RTTY contest and hearing that ham from Nuuk, Greenland. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I've never heard a signal from Greenland before. So, sometimes you have surprises of very, very unique stations in parts of the world where we don't usually hear a lot of signals. So, but I admit, for somebody that likes speech and likes text and words, contests are not necessarily the best for that. There are, unfortunately, not that much conversation going on. Simply heard Ancona, Italy, come in on 14257, but now the frequency is quiet. Keegan says, is that W9JEF does talk and CW, mostly CW. Cool. Now, there's a subcategory of guys that like CW and are always there. They're big fans of Morse code. Noodle Ham Operator, nice to have you here. KO4DFJ. Laura, nice to have you here. Jeff K, nice to have you on board. PLF Radio, here is a only FM tabletop radio, the TU80. I don't know this type of radio existed. Yeah, it seems I saw this on the Shortwave listening website, and it's very expensive. It seems to be a high-end FM tabletop receiver. Looks nice, but I mean, whoa, the price on that thing. But it does look nice, though. What else do we have? Let's go down. We have Wizard of Oz, G5RV, Inverted V. Here's everything. Jeff K is N2ZNN in Pennsylvania. Matt says, if you work QRP, I can link the plans to a tunable transmitter loop antenna. Oh, okay. That could be cool. That could definitely be cool. Yamin721 ordered a R9700DX, which is the from Texan, which is a nice little analog receiver that a lot of people seem to be very happy with, actually. So it looks like it's a very nice little device. Chuck CP Davis says, thanks for your advice. I was listening to Long Wave last night, USB around 12:30 a.m. Central Time. Heard some cool signals. Cool. Sometimes what you need to do is take the time. One of the biggest mistakes I think that people can do on radio is go for half an hour in a band, tune around, hear nothing or very few signals, and think that, well, I guess I don't hear anything on that band. If I had acted like that on everywhere I go where I hear nothing, I would have not had so much fun with radio. It always reminds me like 10-meter band. 10-meter band is open more often than we think. And there's this general admission or this general kind of, of rule that everybody goes through and say, oh, well, it's solar minimum, 10 meters. I'm not going to go in 10 meters for at least a few years. And that shows you that, first of all, lack of knowledge of propagation. And that also shows you that, well, you already decided that because of conditions that technically do not favor 10 meters, you're not never going to go there and check out what's there. Well, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. And there's, like I say, other phenomena like sporadic e-skip that happens there. Unfortunately, too many people are like that, and too many people don't. I think a lot of people, a lot of hams that go on the bands listen, but don't take the time to just go on a frequency and call CQ, because it's surprising sometimes. Not enough, I think, I think they go through the band, they hear nothing, so they take for granted, they just say, well, I heard nothing, so the band must be closed. Well, closed or not, I don't care. You should choose a frequency, ask if it's free, and then call CQ. And do that for several minutes. Don't call CQ once and, oh, there's nothing. No, do it several times. And you might be surprised how you'll be rewarded with something. You gotta take the time to do that. And I think that the shortwave listeners, radio listeners in general, or ham operators in general that are happy with their hobby are the people that try everything, even if they're sure that it can be. If I had not done that personally, I don't think I would have heard half of the singles I heard in my life. You try something because you're convinced that it's impossible, and you're like, oh, look at that. It's there. It might be weak, but it's there. So, don't hesitate. Your radio does not go up to 30 megahertz for the fun of it because it's cool. It's because there's a lot of stuff that could show up everywhere. And you might try it several days in a row, have nothing. Then one day you just tune in, you're like, look at this. This is so cool. I'm getting this stuff. And one of the things that opened my eyes was the Texan PL990X. The day or the next day that I got it, like in the 2 or 3 days after I got it, I wanted to test out Longwave a little bit. And I tested out Longwave with the internal ferrite, and I was amazed and rewarded with the Charleston Navtex transmission, marine transmission on 518 kilohertz. There's a video on the channel where I decode the text with my smartphone. And there's, and I heard the Petawawa, Ontario non-directional beacon, which was a first for me. I had never heard it before. That means don't rely on the fact that you always say, I never hear anything here to go there. It could be exceptional propagation one evening that's bringing signals you never heard before. It could be, for some reason, lower noise than usual for a reason in one evening. But take the time. It's important to do so. If you want to have fun in this hobby, you need to take the time to tune regularly, even the frequency range where you hear nothing. And you'll be rewarded someday with a signal. You'll be happy, and it's going to spark that fun of radio. So do not hesitate to try anything and try it. That's how you're going to have fun with radio. That's for sure. Simplio says only thing I hear is on Longwave is 350 kilohertz Galley VOR by it's the airport. The one of the problems with Longwave is often the noise level. When you get a chance to move away a little bit, it's surprising what you might actually get out of that band sometimes. The antenna is important. I think we underestimate the internal ferrites of portable receivers. They are very surprising in how they can receive signals. And if your outdoor antenna is very short, that doesn't favor Longwave much because of the low frequencies. The wavelength of Longwave is incredibly big. So, people that DX seriously have these beverages antennas and so on. And unfortunately, not everybody can have a beverage antenna. I would need to actually ask several neighbors to do so, and I don't think it would work well anyways with the noise I got here in Montreal. Thomas Lane, good afternoon. Nice to have you on board from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Canadian radio TV guy, what was the orange Texan radio you said you ordered the other day? It's the Texan PL368. It's still not the official export version, so wait for the official export version for a very simple reason. I have learned that it does sometimes have that reverse tuning bug in single sideband. So that's something to know. So according to the eBay, to the eBay seller, it is a package. So I have a tracking number for the that it was shipped on February the 3rd, and it's by the tracking is from a company called 4PX, which I remember having received a few receivers from that company. So hopefully it's not going to take too long to get here, but it is shipped. And so I have the orange colored version of the Texan PL 368 portable receiver, which is, for those that wonder, the same form factor as the Texan PL 365 or the CountyCon GP5, which is this. So imagine this, but with a keypad, and it's orange colored. That's what I'm going to get. And I can't wait to test it out. And, I'm not going too crazy on the fact that it might have the reverse tuning bug. I'm kind of used to it on the Texan PL330 Chinese version I have. So I'm going to be okay. If it's the only bug, I'm going to be okay with it. Parag Nolan, nice to have you here from Ireland. Thomas Lane's drink of choice, the Founder's Hail. Cool. Kevin Wood in Nova Scotia, nice to have you here. Pirate just reported now on 6925. 6925. USB. Anything I hear? Anything I hear? Nothing heard in Montreal, but apparently 6925 upper sideband, possible pirate. Parag Nolan says, I discovered shortwave when my dad purchased a Sharp Music Center for the family. It had a record player, a cassette tape deck, and a radio with 4 buttons, medium wave, FM, long wave, and shortwave. Cool. That is cool. Rob likes chocolate milk too, and likes cool. Tarek, nice to have you here, Tarek, from Cairo, Egypt. Nice to have you on board. Radioactive, nice to have you here from Prineville, Oregon. Is it possible, Tarek, that I heard your name mentioned on the World of Radio show, and there was some signal in Egypt that people wanted to identify? I definitely heard, I don't know if it's you, maybe it's some other Tarek, but I think I've heard Glenn Hauser mention a Tarek in Egypt. Kevin Wood says, dark and stormy here. Paradolan says, didn't know what SW even meant, but in playing around with it, I tuned into Radio Moscow in English. Oh, cool. Vince, salut. You got your tram 1411 today. Thanks again for their info and the link. Yeah, it's cool. I can't wait to set it up. I am so anxious to set it up that I was actually looking at my possibilities on how I could set it up. Even if it's just temporarily until actually the summer or the spring arrives, to at least test it out a little bit. Because I do have, it's not the best. I'm going to buy some LMR 400 coax because of the low loss and high frequencies. But I do have a RG58 coax that's coming in that is unused, and it's going outside, and there's nothing on it right now. So I could maybe test that out. So I'm going to check that out. Possibility of sending up even temporarily. Joe Malone, been using a PL880 for one day and one night. It's teaching me a lot. Thanks from Central California. Cool. Hope you're having fun, because I think that's the best thing. Trimbelli, Mr. Bale, no, 15016 is not Mars. It's the global command of the U.S. Air Force. There's no Mars station on 15016. It's really the global command, usually with the EAMs, the easy action message, the emergency, the easy action message. I like that. The emergency action messages. Joe Tyson, generally, no, the length of the cable feed line doesn't, although the feed line can act as part of the radiating element of an end-fed antenna, if not choked off at the feed point. TA5AIJ, nice to have you on board. I won't even attempt to pronounce the name. You know who you are, TA5AIJ. Nice to have you here. Kevin Wood, hearing some traffic on 15016. So like Radioactive said, 15016 is the U.S. Air Force. Mad Radio DXer says, I will keep this show in the background while doing other stuff. No problem. Take care, Mad Radio DXer. Thomas Lane, what do you think of indoor active antennas such as the MFJ 1020C? Would you recommend one to someone living in a small one-bedroom apartment? The best... So the problem with... so I'm just going to look at what it looks like, first of all. So the MFJ 1020C... just go here, MFJ 020C. Indoor active antenna from MFJ Enterprise. Okay. Here's what I will say. So I see here that's $119, which is, a good price for an antenna. Active antennas, when you live in a low noise environment, actually work well in general. And I think that particular model, I've heard some good things about it. There is one problem with that is that it's using a telescopic antenna. And if it's very noisy in your apartment where you live, all you'll have is more noise than anything else. I would actually suggest to you that if you want to try an indoor antenna, it's going to take a little more space, but it doesn't take a lot of space anyways, would be to purchase an MLA30, which is going to cost you half that price, even less. And because it's a magnetic loop, it's going to help you lower that noise level. Because what I'm afraid of that in your small one-bedroom apartment is that the MFJ 1020C might just receive noise and not help you really. Do you receive signals using just the radio and its telescopic antenna itself? And do you hear some interesting stuff? Or is it that you're not getting anything, just out of curiosity? Because it might indicate if you don't receive much or nothing at all, it might be too noisy in your apartment. That case, that antenna, I don't think is going to be a good antenna. And you're probably going to be better off with an MLA30 magnetic loop. And like I said, it's half the price of that, and will probably be a better choice for an indoor antenna, like near a window. Matt, feed line length matter more the higher you go in frequency because of losses increase as you go, but it can impact things at HF. I have a hard time tuning my G5RV to the work bands, but when I use a much longer feed line, those bands tune better. So interesting. What else do we have? Keegan is listening to a remote SDR in Rockport, Maine on Friday. 540 heard WFLA Tampa, Florida. Wow. Cool. Simplio says, I scan more during contests for DX countries because it's so cool hearing Italy and Bulgaria. I like contests for that, getting a lot of those stations from countries we don't hear a lot of stuff. I really like that for sure. Okay, yeah, that is possible. There are fakes of everything right now. So PLF Radio says SDR Play is warning about fakes from their devices. So here, if we look at their, this is a February 4th. Says just a reminder that there's a lot of scams and fake SDR Play devices out there on the internet. Our RSP1A in particular has several limitations. Some are real attempts to duplicate the functionality by copying the design. Other fake postings are cut and paste misrepresentations of genuine SDR Play resellers' web pages. These can be really hard to notice. A site called calvinpuss.com has recently been carrying product items which mimic a genuine reseller's artwork and product description. So be careful. Fake copies may not work with the latest SDR Play software, including SDR Uno. There will be no technical support, even if you get some limited functionality using out-of-date software. So, yeah, be careful. There's a lot of those going on. For example, one that is often mentioned is the RTL SDR V3, which I don't recommend anyways, but it's still a better option than the cheap RTL SDR. Well, that RTL SDR V3 on eBay has several sellers selling the cheap RTL SDR in a casing that imitates the V3 version. And when you get it, of course, you can't have it running like it's supposed to because it's not the real deal. So there's a lot of scams going on with that, for sure. I'm sure even AirSpy probably has several of its products that are copied or made in China. There's a few of the portable SDRs that are actually Chinese copies that are far from having the same performance as the original ones. Of course, they are a lot cheaper. So beware. When you buy something like an SDR device, an SDR Play device, like the RSP1A, RSPDX, or else, make sure you buy it from a known seller that is known to sell the good stuff. Like an SDR Play in the United States. If I live in the US and an SDR Play or SDR, I would probably go to HRO, Ham Radio Outlet. Why? Because you know that they have the real deal. In the UK, you can get it directly from SDR Play. But make sure you get it from a known good store or a good place. If you buy it online, make sure you buy it online from a known store that is that sells the real deal. It's getting very, very complicated and difficult to have the real stuff these days. There's a lot of scams out there and there's a lot of imitations. So be very, very careful. Be careful of Amazon too. Amazon has a lot of fakes that are also sold. It's not because it's Amazon. At least with Amazon, you have the possibility of returning it easily. But beware, because even Amazon has fakes. iMapper says it seems that minus 15, 20 Celsius is critical for Texan 880 battery. It died in an hour. I had to switch to another receiver. Lithium-ion batteries are not don't like very cold temperatures. They don't like very cold temperatures, like a lot of batteries also. Paulo Pinto, nice to have you on board, CT1ETE. Human 721, what can you hear if your radio is overloaded, and can it damage the radio? Are there any differences between analog and digital radios? I am talking about an analog. Overload is simply that if you are living close to really strong transmitters like an AM FM broadcast transmitter, what happens is it can actually, on some radios, it can actually break through the circuit and show up at places where it shouldn't be. Here, for example, in Montreal, with all the FM, very strong FM powerful signals, a radio that doesn't have a good front end and a good circuit will overload with FM breakthrough everywhere on shortwave. It's not going to break your radio. It doesn't damage your radio. It's just that your radio is rendered almost useless when it's overloaded because it prevents you from hearing the real signals. What we, in most portables, when they say a digital radio, analog radio, they mostly mean receivers that either have a DSP chip in it. So a lot of modern radios, like Texan PL330 here, even the Sangean here, the C Crane here, they use a DSP chip, which is basically a radio on a chip. And the reason they do that is because it simplifies the making of a radio. Usually the silicon integrated 4734, 35 family. And it's simply that the difference is it adds some interesting features like more bandwidths and stuff like that. It has a downside. Most radios that use the DSP chip have soft mute when you tune around, which makes it less interesting when you start manually tuning the bands. But no, overloading will not damage your radio. It's just that when it overloads, or where you are, if it overloads, it's just going to render the radio useless. You won't hear much because of that. RTM, nice to have you here. Merrill, KK4HFG, nice to have you here from South Carolina. Weekend is not too bad. Not too bad. Rufus, nice to have you here from the Laurentian Valley, Ontario. Bill Curry, N8UUP, nice to have you on board. Posted a message regarding 1070KNX, LA, California, being heard the last 2 nights here in Michigan. Wow, cool. I need to tune the medium wave band a little more. I haven't done a real good scan of medium wave in a while. And I've been wanting to actually do a video scanning the medium wave band on the Texan PL990X, because I haven't done much of that. And also showing you guys using the Texan PL990X with the AN200 loop and switching between internal ferrite and the external loop and see if there's a big difference in reception. So I'm going to try to do that in the next few days. Stephen Wood, the Vermont QSO party going on right now. Several stations heard on 40 meters. So cool. Let's check out 40 meters and see how many stations are there here. Yeah, I'm hearing some stuff. So here's, for example, 7172, something like that. Let's go here. Let's see if I'm, yeah, there's a lot of stuff on 40 meters right now.
No, that never happened. But after I settled in, I put my mind to it to get my ticket, and I got it. And it was about, you had to park in this little parking lot. It was I guess it was a regional, it was a local. You've never. Well, now, when you were living up here in Jersey, right? Good QSL party. You know, when you're running a QSL party, I'll let you have it there. So 73 to you and yours. This is DA3CRE. That is rolling up here at Copper Cliff, Ontario, on behalf of the Nickel Belt Amateur Radio Net. I mean, they're pretty amazing when you consider they're 50-year-old. You know, that's 50-year-old equipment.
Quite a lot of signals on 40 meters.
Rather than 50 years, but I don't know. Who knows? But that I think it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Lots of stations. Not really heard anyone calling for the QSO party, but lots of people talking on 40 meters right now. Robert Cross got a Radio China International other night around half one. There's a few. They have a few frequencies from Cuba that are coming in. Well, there's 5990 I hear quite well. 6180 also. That unfortunately overlaps the Radio Nacional Amazona. So you hear Brazil in the background sometimes. It's a shame that they haven't chosen a frequency that, there's so much frequencies available. Could have chosen something else. What else do we have? Matt says, I like to check the FT8 frequency to see if a particular band is open. Sometimes I can even call when I hear nothing just in case. I got to say, the FT8 trick I use myself, and often we'll see it anyways on the waterfall of the device here. I'll be looking at 15 meters, and I see that, there's that little 21074 has activity, which is FT8. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Band is open. There's some FT8, so it's possible to have more stuff. Meryl KK4HFJ says, thanks for the radio, for the info. Steven got a Parks on the Air guy a few minutes ago. Cool. Oh yeah, absolutely. Band conditions can change real fast when things are happening. That is something that, you can have a 10-meter band that's closed, and in 10 minutes, suddenly full of signals. And like the other way around, it could be full of signals, and 10 minutes later, it's dead, completely dead. Radio says, my radio goes to 64 megahertz only because it is cool. Oh, God. I got to say, I always, all the radios I have that can go down to 64, I usually all turn on the 64, up to 64 is like, hey, I have the possibility to go down to 64, even if there's nothing there here. Why not? What else do we have? Simply says, please don't tell my Ethan I said that, or it will quit working. How to spite, radios. Kevin Wood says, lots of fun hearing two non-directional beacons from Greenland one night. Yeah, you're on the East Coast there, close to the ocean. It's you can have access to that. You should try Kevin Wood. I don't know. I need to check out some of the SDRs also. There's a host schedules in the 2 megahertz range. There's a host of maritime stations that are from Greenland that are in the list of frequencies. And I would be very interested to know if they are, in fact, really active and we can actually hear them. I really would like to check that for sure. What else do we have? So, Michael Thompson, no dude, I hope your antenna port is there soon. I have the I was talking, I had purchased the multi-coupler from the US to plug my antenna and have 4 ports, 4 possible receivers. So the story behind it is that it's was shipped on Monday. On Wednesday morning, was it Wednesday morning? No, it's Thursday morning. So Wednesday, I had a tracking that said that by the end of the day, I should have my multi-coupler. But around 4 p.m. in the afternoon, they changed that and they said, oh, sorry, you're going to have it only tomorrow. So I was waiting for the multi-coupler on Thursday. And I wake up in the morning and it says it's delivered to the front door. So, I'm still half asleep, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh man, I'm dressing up real fast, going down, checking out, nowhere to be seen. No multi-coupler anywhere. but it says it's delivered. So it's like, okay. So I issued a complaint with, of course, UPS, saying, well, it says delivered. It's nowhere to be seen. I did go to, because there's sometimes they don't read the 9 correctly and they read it as 8. And because on that 8th Avenue, there's also the same address as here, sometimes it happens to deliver it there. And it happened a few times that the girl that lives there actually brings me a package. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I went there to see if it was maybe delivered there. There was nothing there also. So now, today, I was checking the my complaint. And what it says is there's kind of a yellow triangle, and it says, check tomorrow for a new delivery date. But it's like, yeah, but it's so weird. What the hell happened? So I'm mad as hell because it's like, come on. You know, I paid 300 Canadian dollars for that thing. I want to have it. So I'm going to raise hell. If they lost it or something, I'm not going to, it's like, I want to have my money back. And I know it's not the fault of the company that sent it. They sent it. There's a tracking and everything. It's UPS that screwed up. I always, and if you live in Canada, every Canadian will tell you never to use UPS from a company that sends stuff from the US. I've learned that the hard way a long time ago. Problem is, the company that makes the multi-coupler only has UPS as a choice. And I've been searching a lot, and I can't see something like the multi-coupler they have anywhere in any other brand or anything. So I'm like, yeah, that's really the one I need. So I decided, well, what can go wrong? Well, here. I've got a device that I don't know where it is, and $300 that's disappeared. It's like crazy. I had an idea of doing something. If I see that it seems complicated, I want to write to the company that makes that multi-coupler, share with them my YouTube channel, and tell them, I ordered the multi-coupler. I didn't get it because UPS screwed up. Would there be a way for me to have one? And I'd be happy to talk about it and share that with my viewers. And maybe you're going to sell some, I don't know. But we're going to wait what's happening and see. Tarek says, long way was fun last week. Managed to get Czech Republic on 270 and also on medium wave. So really nice. Kathleen says, Paul, W1 VLF has great videos of building ferret rod antennas. Okay, cool. What else do we have? Oh, that was you, Tarek. Okay. I immediately thought of you because you were in the chat room, I think on Wednesday or is it last week? But when I heard, because I thought, okay, there's a Tarek in my chat room and the live shows in Egypt. How many Tareks that listen to the radio can there be? And I thought, could it be him? So that's, I heard you on Glenn Hauser's World of Radio. Chas Tank, nice to have you here from Louisville, Kentucky. Sunny but cold. What else do we have? Yeah, tour. Just got a radio R108. The farthest station I could hear was 7,500 kilometers away. Would having a loop antenna inside my home or in the balcony get me to hear a station that's 11,000 kilometers away consistently? That's not how shortwave works, actually. Shortwave is a varying medium, and so there's a lot of variations and day-to-day propagation changes. If you heard a station 7,500 kilometers away, be patient and continue tuning every day. And I bet you can get something 11,000 kilometers away if conditions are right with the same setup. That said, a magnetic loop like the MLA30 would probably help enhance the signals. That's possible. What else do we have? What else do we have? Tarek says Glenn was talking about a mysterious station. Yeah, that's what I was. A number station in Egypt. So it's kind of cool. Radioactive easy action messages. Richard Wooden, I can never get any worldwide shortwave reception here in Spanish. Look at Belize, Central America. Any reason why? I suspect that it's because you have too much noise, because there's quite a lot of transmissions in Spanish directed to Central South America that you should be able to hear easily, including WRMI that has 9955 with a lot of Spanish programming towards South Central America. And there are quite a few stations. I think you have too much noise because you should be hearing stuff. Thomas Lane discovered shortwave when he was serving in Vietnam. There was a guy I knew who was a radio guy, used to turn into all sorts of shortwave broadcasts. Sure beat annoy Anna. I mean, being overseas and in the army, I think a shortwave radio is probably a good companion to have. Honestly, that's for sure. Canadian radio TV guy. Let me just go back here. The easy action message system, a new convenient way to order things like skip the dishes, Amazon products, and so much more. You can even get your products shipped to you by EAM Prime. Easy action message. I like that. So, well, I know one thing. The seller that I used for the MLA30 a long time ago still sells MLA30s, and they're still exactly $44 like I paid at the time. And if you look at the eBay listings, a lot of MLA30s are in the $40-ish. A lot of them are in the regular $40-ish price. Yeah, with the MLA30 loop, you might have Thomas Lane. You might have a little more. Human 721, do you like listening to internet radio? I don't, because it's just too perfect. I want to connect to it myself with a radio. Well, I do have a Sanjian WFR20 that's going to stop working at the end of April. I purchased one out of curiosity, and it turned mostly into a music streaming box, honestly. So, Generation. How about USRP or HackRF? What exactly is the question? William Helms, nice to have you here in Florida. David in Barcelona, nice to have you here. ¿Cómo está mi amigo? EA3EIK. IEK, sorry. EA3IEK. Raptor 22 Stealth, nice to have you here. Northern Don says, is buying direct probably the best for his DR play? Well, you either buy it direct or you buy it from a renowned store. You know, like here in Canada, Radio World in Toronto does carry the SDR Play devices. So that would be a good source. In the US, I think Ham Radio Outlet is probably where a lot of you buy it, and it's a reputable place, you know, where you know you're going to get a real deal. But things like, like when I purchased the AirSpy HF Plus, there were several ways I could get one. and there were some on eBay, and I avoided eBay because I could not really know, am I getting the real stuff or am I getting a Chinese fake? I just couldn't know. So even if it was more expensive, I purchased directly through the AirSpy website because I knew that I was going to get the real deal. And it was important for me that it was that, because the fakes that they have today for these devices, you don't know. They look exactly the same. So you're not really sure you're getting the real stuff or not. So, Seen what's nice to have you here, Sean. Where'd the cat go? Probably sleeping in the bedroom right now. If we're lucky, he might come over and say hi. Kathleen says, I have the RTL SDR-V3 original from the alternate project, and I can't get it to work on HF. It's showing the bands, but only fake signals are showed up. You need to choose quadrature, something like quadrature. I don't remember the exact wording. Sampling, something like quadrature direct sampling or something like that, and it will turn on HF. If you are just using the standard setting that the software has, it gives you VHF, UHF, but HF doesn't work. You do need to have something like direct quadrature sampling to have HF work. And even then, you will have tons of spurious signals everywhere because it's a crappy device for images. I mean, it gets signals. Don't get me wrong. The RTL SDR-V3 will get a signal on shortwave. So if you know the frequency and tune it, it's going to get you that signal. And actually, those that wonder what it is, it's this little device here. You will get signals. The only thing is you'll get a lot of images. So if you're not sure when you're tuning around what you're getting, you might get images of stations. And I mean images all the way up to like 10 meter band. You're going to hear some shortwave stations, on the 10 meter band where they're not supposed to be. That's the biggest flaw of the RTL SDR-V3. Simplio says, yes, it's better because serial numbers of RSP devices are recorded and any fakes that won't work. Yeah, of course, if you have fakes, a lot of the stuff doesn't work. And that's what's happening. You can't update the software. You can't use their own software. So Dennis Bargetzi says, does anyone have experience with PK's loop antennas from Australia? Well, I think everybody is very strict on their devices, Just going to fill up my glass. It's, they've invested in creating a product. There's copyright on that. I mean, the way things are built and the software and the way that even the design is copyrighted. But China's China, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. I mean, there's good stuff, but there's a lot of Chinese companies make fakes, sell them on eBay, and they're kind of difficult. You can't really do anything about it. Pretty crazy. What else do we have? Ken Surtees, you can make a cheap loop with wire and variable capacitors, but it's better in MLA30, which is amplified and does better than a passive loop works well and does remove noise. And yes, you can create one. But a amplified loop, a magnetic loop like the MLA30, gets more. And there's a lot of demonstrations actually of people that had the that had the a passive loop and tried it against one of those active loops, and it's crazy. No, it's not that bad when I'm only 10 or 15 minutes behind, actually. Now I'm a little more. I'm 20 minutes, roughly 20 minutes. It's a mix of a lot of things. Human 721 for 10,000 kilometers. It's propagation conditions, but it's also knowing what signal to hear at and what frequencies to use. Tune around. Just tune around all the time. Michael Thompson, MLA 30 Plus just arrived in the mail. Cool. Chas Tank studying for the AM license. Cool. Daniela, nice to have you here. Nice to see you on Saturdays. The PL990X's external antenna increases medium wave sensitivity, much like it does on the Ethon E1. That was my reason for purchasing the 990X, and I don't regret it. Oh, it's definitely a nice radio. Matt says tune into the shortwave radiogram WINB 9265 the other day and had great reception for 25 minutes, and then the band closed within 2 minutes. Oh yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes when it happens, it's just wow. Jean-Marc Letz, bonjour et bienvenue de la France. Toujours un plaisir de Strasbourg. Je bois un vin français en ce moment d'ailleurs. Nice to have you on board, everybody, by the way. Eric Cottrell says you can get Quebec and Atlantic Canada and non-directional beacons from coastal Massachusetts. I heard Glenn Hauser receiving at his location in Oklahoma some Canadian non-directional beacons. Tarek, Mrs. Shortwave radiogram. Oh, there's no frequencies in the shortwave radiogram that actually makes it all the way to Cairo. And the times and frequencies of the shortwave radiogram. Robert Osborne, nice to have you on board from Niagara Falls. Getting cold now. All my radio gear is outside. Is in outside shack. Man. What else do we have? Mr. Bell says, have a friend in America receive your UPS packages and friend send package. So yeah, something else. You know, it's not the best. But I always at least receive the stuff when it's sent by the U.S. Postal Service. It might take a little longer, but I don't care. I always get my stuff, because then it's exchanged with Canada Post, which is much slower than they were before, and it's a little crappy, but the stuff gets here, you know? So, Matt, yeah, so the multi-coupler didn't turn up yet, and I filed a complaint, and now it says there's a yellow triangle saying, come back tomorrow for a new shipping date. It said that yesterday. It says that today. So I don't know what's happening right now. I'm a little, I'm pissed off, honestly, with that. Richard Patterson says we get the same problem here in Germany with Hermes Post. Justin, we also have a problem with U.S. mail and porch pirates. My mailman was arrested for dumping bags of mail, not deliver it. That's stupid. Nope, Eric. UPS lost it somewhere. It's still not here. I really, really would like to have that multi-coupler, I got to say. Tom the Extra says, I ordered something that was sent by UPS. I get the email that it was delivered. Couldn't find it, so I checked the tracking number. Delivered it to someone in California. I live in New York. Oh, boy. It was a weird week anyways for anything that was delivered here, because I have ordered from another store, but it's a local store here in Montreal. It was sent by Purolator, and Purelator actually sent the tracking. When I look at it, it says, "Oh, that address doesn't exist." It's like, what? What are you saying? So it's the week of screw ups of delivery companies here. Really crazy. Really crazy here. Sorry. Have you checked for whistlers on VLF? No, never, because I don't have. I can go down VLF here, on the devices, but I have too much noise. It's something I probably can't really do. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you here from Greenfield Park, Quebec. Nice to have you on board. I just got confirmation by Spencer that our show will be airing tomorrow morning. Radioactive, hearing an odd signal on 13.5i8.5. Any idea on what it is? S7 in Oregon. You're probably hearing something that must be centered close or around 13.560, which is the frequency for scientific and laboratory equipment of all sorts. There's ID tags that work there. There's all sorts of scientific equipment. It's a frequency we hear stuff all the time. For example, if I go on 13.560 here, you will hear these tones. And these little tones that you hear in the back are kind of they're these kind of instruments. Sometimes I hear pings and peeps and all sorts of weird things. But I would guess that's probably what you're getting, especially if on the S meter it's very stable, like S7, and it doesn't move really up and down like propagation. Some kind of instrument around you that is sending that signal. Sergeant Rock, nice to have you here. Thanks for your show. And to the Big Island, Hawaii, Radio New Zealand, strong, 13840, listenable on a Texan R9012. Wow. Rub it in, Sergeant Rock. I miss my summer Radio New Zealand evenings. Nice to have you here from Hawaii. Radioactive says, no, I do not live near a store. I did not know RFID transmitted. Yeah, all sorts of instruments are transmitting there. Tons of different things. So it's a mismatch of all sorts of weird signals there. Frank Ireland, nice to have you here from Venice, Florida, and 40AA. Jeffrey Kropp, nice to have you here from New Hampshire. We have the Shortwave, nice to have you on board. Good evening. Broke my bias T and the SDR play. Do you think it's still fixable? Would the cost don't hold up against the new price? So the bias T in the SDR play isn't working anymore. What antenna are you using? Use an external bias T. It would be simpler, I think, to use just an external bias T for your antenna. If it's like an ML830, use the bias T that is included with it, for sure. But man, fixing that is probably as expensive as just getting a new SDR, a new SDR play device. Sheldon Harvey, February edition of the Canadian International DX Club Bulletin was sent out. So if you'd like a sample copy, the Messenger is a great little publication. It's really, really nice. It is definitely worth checking out. It has information for radio stuff of every type. This month, I personally have a review of the XH Data D808. I have the utility column where there's information about all the types of radars you can listen to on the shortwave bands. If you've never asked for a sample copy of the Messenger, please do and check it out. It's so inexpensive to actually, be a member. CIDXclub@yahoo.com. And there's tons of things. QSL card, QSL, the very interesting column by Mickey Dalmage. There's the Antarctic DX column. There's, of course, utility column. There's, everything radio, amateur radio, scanner radio, everything that could be radio in any way. There's tons of information in there. And don't be fooled by the name of the Canadian International DX Club, because you might be saying, well, the information in there is only for, Canadians. No, it's not Canada centered. It is from Canada. But honestly, it's really a worldwide publication because it has information for everybody in there. And I think it's totally worth it. If you haven't checked a sample copy, come on, it takes 2 minutes to just go to cidxclub@yahoo.com, send an email to cidx@yahoo.com, cidxclub@yahoo.com, and just ask for a sample copy. You'll be surprised at the quality and the information in there. $10 a year, 25 3 years. I mean, got nothing to lose, and you'll get a excellent PDF publication in your email every month. So check it out. Check it out. I'm not paid to say this. I just want everybody to read my utility column. That's the only thing. No, but I've been a member for a while. Over the years, I've been an off and on member in the 90s when it was a book, when it was a printed publication. But now it's like, it's a must have. I mean, it doesn't cost a lot, and you have a lot of stuff in there that you'll be happy to get, and all the information in there. Man. So cheers, everybody. Frank Ireland emailed Ethon this week to ask if they still plan to make the Ethon Elite satellite. They responded that it is still on their roadmap and that they hope to release late this year if no more tech issues. It's going to be interesting to see if, because we are really not hearing anything about that anymore. Trim Belly Mr. Bell says, China be like, what's copyright? Robert Osborne picking up CFRX Toronto 6070 kilohertz, heavy interference and static. Keegan says that he's got the Ethon Grenadier Edition satellite and the Ethon Elite Executive, both with SSB and RDS on FM. Cool. Branson, nice to have you here. Haven't been here for a long time. Minimum time. Sorry. Hey, don't be sorry. It's, that's life. I'll watch streams from the recording when it's time. Great videos. Thanks. Greetings from Paul. And the Czech Republic, welcome aboard. And don't be sorry, that's life for you. That's life for you. You should be getting, or maybe you're getting too much noise off of your computer, because you should be getting, you are sure you got the real RTL SDR V3. Huh? It's very important, because just the basic one doesn't work on HF. Make sure you got the real V3 and you got it from a real source that sends you the right thing, because there's a lot of copies out there. Graham, nice to have you here. Good afternoon. Human 721. What is the difference between vertical polarization and horizontal polarization? It's simply the way that they're positioned. If you so depending on the communications, they've adopted certain types of polarization. And for example, on VHF, horizontal polarization is popular. It's simply that it's telling you the way that the antenna is set up. So a vertical antenna sends a vertical polarization because of its positioning. Whereas horizontal is because, we put it horizontal. Often the horizontal polarization is meant because it's more directional. So, for example, a vertical antenna is omnidirectional and would be vertical polarization because of the way it is. Horizontal polarization, well, of course, you'll see that the little, like in the VHF, UHF, you'll see that the elements are horizontal across the antenna, and you can actually easily beam the signal to a specific part if you want, because of the way that it's done. So it can become very, very directional if you want. But it's simply to tell you that the antenna is either vertical or horizontal, and of course, send and receive. This is why also sometimes it's a little hard on. So, for example, I have a mobile vertical for VHF UHF right now. It is a vertical. A lot of the transmissions on the UHF range, for example, are horizontal polarized. You still get them, but you don't get the full strength because there's a mismatch in the polarization in the way that the signal is received. So when they're very weak, when the signal is extremely weak, you would have a better possibilities using a horizontal polarized receive antenna also. K6YYL, Kimberly in California. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Always cool to have everybody here. Matt says, frustrating regarding multicoupler. Sure hope they get it sorted out soon. So like I said, Matt, I'll wait a few days, see what happens. And if I see that it doesn't seem to be working out, I'm tempted to reach out to the company, say, look, I purchased the multicoupler last week. UPS lost it. Here is my YouTube channel where I reach, thousands of viewers every week. And I think it would make great publicity for you guys to, with your multicoupler. And, what can we work out as a deal so I can get it and use it and see what happens. So I thought maybe I'd try that route. And, it's not like I haven't shed money. I already purchased one. So if they would send me one at a very low cost or no cost at all, well, I did spend money anyway. So at least that could be a possibility. I don't know. I'm going to check that out. You never know. Okay. Thomas Lane, somewhere possibly in a place above the Arctic Circle, someone is looking at a multi-coupler on their igloo doorstep. Yeah, it's in Kuujjuaq. Some guy in Kuujjuaq got that box and says, what the hell's that for? What else do we have? Graham says 2 packages, 1 shortwave boat have been delayed by Canada Post for at least 10 days. Yeah, well, sometimes also there's the when they come from outside the another country, there's the customs that are actually it's stuck at customs sometimes. But Canada Post has been very slow, very slow. Sal Morel, nice to have you here from New Jersey. Could you talk briefly about the weather station behind you? Yeah, this is a weather station that I purchased, a year? It's at least a couple of years now, if not a year. And it has an outdoor a sensor with a wind. I'm trying to find the model number for this thing because I never remember. It's CAB 7092, made by Lacoste Technology. I love it. I really find it really, really nice. It, of course, gives you the information of the indoor and outdoor temperatures, humidity, wind speed, wind chill, all that information. Of course, it's logged. The clock is synchronized with the atomic clock of WWVB at 60 kilohertz. So this is This is a nice little weather station. I'm happy with it. There's a lot of negative comments on the because purchased it on sale at Canadian Tire here in Canada. There's a lot of negative comments on it. People saying that it breaks down easily and so on. You know, I do read comments on websites, but I also have I observe a lot of what the people are actually commenting about. You know, when you buy something and you see a rating 4 stars out of 5 or 3 stars out of 5 or 2 stars out of 5, start reading the comments carefully, because you have indications of, is it the product that's bad, or it's that people that purchased it are idiots that don't know how to use it. That's I'm sorry to use this wording, but that's what comes out when I read comments of products on websites. It's like, yeah, you're an idiot and you don't know what to do, or you broke it. Yeah, with that comment, you broke it. It's obvious you broke it, and you're trying to say that it's cheap or whatever. So I started reading the comments, and every comment, a lot of the comments that came out, it was like, yeah, you have no idea what you're doing. It's not broken. It doesn't have a problem. You just don't know what you are doing. That's all. If it would be just like everybody saying, well, I had this, it worked great, and after 3 months, it doesn't work anymore. And most comments are that. Oh, okay, so it breaks down easily. But there was a lot of the comments is, well, the wind indicator broke down, and it's like, yeah, what do you do? I mean, it's obviously something you got to handle with care because it is delicate. And a lot of the comments was like, it broke down when I installed it. It broke down. What the hell did you do when you installed it? You broke it. Come on. When you installed it, it broke down. You broke it. Just admit it, Or, it was in the wintertime, and what do? You took a hammer to remove the ice from an ice storm on it or something? You got to just be careful. So a lot of the comments pointed more at, you don't have no idea how to use this thing than anything else. Plus, part of the comments were also, oh, well, it doesn't seem to work very well with getting the weather on the internet. It doesn't get the weather on the internet. It's an autonomous weather station that gets data from the sensor outside your house. What don't you understand about that? So, it's, you look at the comments and you're like, come on. So I purchased it because I was like, okay, it's half price. It looks real cool. And, from the comments that I see I don't think that thing has that many problems. Actually, when you look at weather stations like these, a lot of the comments are always negative. And it's obvious that people buy these things without knowing exactly what they're purchased. And, it ends up like, yeah, well, no, you don't know what you're doing, and that's why you're commenting. You're giving it a bad reputation, but it's because you don't know how to use it. So it's it's like what, at more than a year. I think it's second winter, so it's like at least I would say close to 3 years I have it now. At least 2.5 years now. And it works great. It works great. And I'm really happy with it. And it's beautiful looking. Really, really have a lot of fun with that. I like the ones that, have a sensor, because you have the new ones today. You can buy a panel that plugs to, it connects to your Wi-Fi, and it gives you the weather from one of those weather sites. Yeah, they are nice. Don't get me wrong. And if you don't want to put anything outside, and if it's complicated and all you want is a nice little panel with the weather, it's fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, they do look very, very nice. I saw one. It's expensive. It was like $300. I mean, that thing was like a 10-inch screen with tons of information. It would connect to Wi-Fi, to your internet, and get the weather from the internet. It was kind of cool. Actually, I looked at it and was like, wow, this is beautiful. But I have a kick out of having a sensor outside that sends a radio signals to it to actually tell me what's the weather at my house here in my backyard, not from some sensor somewhere that's sending that over the internet and blah, blah, blah. I want to have my own little station. I prefer those, honestly, in general. But, I've had several Lacrosse technology weather stations over the years and always been very happy. It's I think if there's a brand to enjoy these weather stations with sensors and all, Lacrosse Technology is a great company for that. Matt says, to whoever is using the SDR Play RSP with a broken bias T, have you used different software to confirm? If you have, open a ticket with SDR Play. I've had our one RSP repaired and another replaced for free. So there you go. Maybe you should contact the company and they might actually fix it for you. Dan, nice to have you here. When are you going to fire up the FT450? Yeah, well, it's on the sloper, so it's kind of not that great. And I would have to, actually, I could probably do it with something. Or I could do it another way here. Let me just check out here. Do this. Is it plugged in? I'm not sure it's plugged in or it's unplugged. It unplugged itself somehow. I'll need to check it out. So it doesn't turn on. So there's something I didn't. Something is different. So I'm not going to turn it on today. But anyways, it's on the sloper and it's so noisy it doesn't get that much. So. Bill K, nice to have you on board. Just ordered a PL330 and we'll be beginning down the Shortwave Road in Kitchener, Ontario. Cool. We're going to have fun. It's a nice little radio, honestly. David Knowles says quite a few AM signals on the amateur band this weekend due to the AM rally. Oh, there's a thing called the AM rally. Kind of nice. Northern Dawn been trying to DX Ukraine on 549 kilohertz, but got another frequency on there. Huh. Trimbale says, I swear there's more activity on the 14 megahertz ham band right now in North America than medium wave stations in North America. Let's check out the 20 meter band here. Anything interesting? Anything interesting? Yeah, there's some activity. There's some activity, definitely. Let's check it out here. So,
the offenders were done a couple kilohertz from us. So I think this will be much better, I'm hoping.
Kilo Delta 4 station. Just
Roger. Working maybe on the lower bands where I could hear them over.
Oh, look at that. There's a strong AMer on 14305. That guy was real strong. I got to admit, it is true that the audio of AMers are really, really nice.
Developed the lines in the little displays, and I sent it back to Yaesu, and they fixed it under warranty. And then what I did was I bought an extra set of.
There is quite a lot of activity on 20 meters, actually. Yep, absolutely. Any hams out there want to try a little CQ on 20 meters?
Have that problem, but some of
who knows?
That's affirmative.
There is a lot of activity on 20 meters. Absolutely. Ralph Grandin, nice to have you here from New Jersey. The Shortwave says, thank you for the help, Joe, but I have the MLA30 also, but I never used the BIOS-T until that came with it. Due to the interference from the MLA30 BIOS-T, I only use the SDR Play BIOS-T. Oh, that's interesting. You know what? I don't have interference from it. Choose another power supply. Because honestly, personally, I have more noise from the RSPDX's BIOS-T than I do from the BIOS-T that was with my MLA30. Have you tried a different power supply on the MLA30's BIOS-T? Because you got to know one thing here, is that the MLA30 antenna works on 12 volts. What's happening is that it has to convert the 5 volts or less power and convert it to 12. And that is what creates some noise. When you're plugged with the SDR Play, you're also plagued with the fact that the SDR Play does not give 12 volts. It gives like a low 5 volt voltage, and also has to be converted by the MLA30. Try a different power supply if you can, because I'm surprised that you have more noise. It's not what I see here, honestly. It's not that the RSPDX does give a lot of noise. It gives a little bit more. It's not that much of a difference, but I'm surprised that you have more noise with the BIOS-T. Rufus CIDX newsletter is very informative and interesting. Cool. Thomas Lane says, I just sent my request for a sample newsletter to CIDX. Sounds as though it might be well worth it. Oh, absolutely. Simply, some goofy seller on Amazon put a price of $1,000 US. Yeah. One amigo. Nice to have you here. EA3014SWL. Nice to have you on board. RJ88 Dakota. Nice to have you on board. Kathleen, the case of my RTL SDR seems original like yours, and it has been purchased 3 years ago for the alternate kit project from USA. Okay, because the Chinese imitations are exactly the same. Also, they imitate everything as if it was the real thing. And I have someone that had the fake of this, and it doesn't work on HF. It's weird. Maybe you got too much noise going through it, because it should work. It actually works surprisingly well in receiving. It's like I said, what you got to be careful is all the spurious signals that aren't there everywhere. Canadian radio TV guy, I wonder how active Channel 6, 27025 Super Bowl is tomorrow night. Oh, at the same time as well, it'll depend on if propagation's there. The Super Bowl channel while watching the Super Bowl. I forgot tomorrow is the Super Bowl, eh? So some of you guys are not going to be interested in a show VHF, UHF maybe. Although the game starts a little later. So, what else do we have? Liberator. FM radio stations use vertical polarization because most car antennas are vertical. It's better for music. Yeah, it's mostly what is like, more like communications in the VHF, UHF range. They will often use horizontal. Depends on what they have to, where they're broadcasting and what they are broadcasting. Frosty Gaming. Nice to have you here. Wow, you know everything, mate. You're smart. No, I don't know everything. But I am smart. Nothing like bragging a little bit, eh? RJ Dakota says some FMs use horizontal and vertical polarization. I've heard a couple of them. David, KJ4CMY, UPS. What can Brown lose for you? Yeah. I'm But here in Canada, we always say don't buy anything if a company doesn't have any other choice than UPS. Forget it. You know what scared me the most was because I paid their brokerage fee also. You know, they charged me $40 for brokerage fee. This is a big problem with UPS when you buy from the US. Is you'll buy I remember a friend of mine buying a $80 thing from the US. It came here from UPS. He looks at me and says, "Is this normal? I'm paying $50 of brokerage fee for an $80 thing." And I said, "Yep, that's why we never order from UPS because they screw you up all the time." So you know. Matt says, hopefully that approach nets you something. They seem like well-run professional company. Yeah, I like that, Matt. Honestly, I was thinking, well, maybe they would, just be nice and say, well, and I mean, I don't want to have, if somebody refunds money, because I'm not the kind of guy that like, hey, I didn't get my device, so you should refund. Look, you did send it, and I am more into, well, UPS needs to pay me back. And that's where I'm going. And that's my goal. UPS needs to pay me back if I'm not getting it. But I'm thinking, well, maybe if I purchase one anyways, they know I did. Maybe they'll be open and say, well, look, we'll send you one. Who knows? Frank Ireland, what type of multi-coupler did you order? So it's from a US company. I never get their name right. So anyways, it's a multi-coupler from a US company that is really nice. Low loss multi-coupler. I purchased one which has 4 ports, so I can actually put a antenna at one end and have 4 radios, each using the same antenna with pretty much no loss. And also each port is isolated from each other so that there's no interaction between the radios or anything. They are very well rated. I've read a lot of comments, a lot of information on them. They seem to be some of the best out there. And it comes from a US company. So my problem is UPS. I should find a name for UPS, The United, I don't know. Gotta find some kind of funny acronym for UPS that would mean they screw you up all the time. Oh man. Clovis, talk about number stations. Number stations, they're everywhere. Number stations, they are on the bands everywhere. I suspect that I might have been hearing a uncharted number stations the other time on 3 megahertz. You guys saw the video, the Morse code that seems to be human sent. That was very weird. And here we go. It's the Stridsbergen.com multi-coupler. So thanks, Matt, for sharing. That's what I ordered, the 4-port one. So they are very highly rated. So one of the best places to go for number stations is really the Preom website. You have a lot of all the schedules, a lot of information of past and active number stations. For example, here it says that M12 could be active in Morse code in 12 minutes. Maybe we should try that, guys. Next station, M12 on 6832 CW. 6832 CW or 6831 upper sideband if you don't have CW. So 6832. I'll put it in CW here. And whoops. 6832. Enter. CW. And we're going to monitor that in 12 minutes. So at 2220 UTC. 2220 UTC. We'll have M12 today. That is, so for those that wonder what that is, it's a Morse code number station. Says it's active. It is transmitted from 2 locations, Moscow, Russia, and Khabarovsk, Russia. And so it should be active in 12 minutes. With the darkness path pretty much from here to Russia, I'm not surprised it would be there. This is what it's supposed to sound like, by the way, guys. So they start up with some kind of ID and then some fast Morse code message. So this is what it sounds like. And that might actually be available, at least for the East Coast. I know you guys on the West Coast, there's still a lot of darkness path, a lot of daytime paths, sorry. But I'm going to try it out. 6832 CW, guys, tuned there. Let's check it out. So there's a lot of active number stations, and a lot of them coming from Russia, but there's still different countries. Poland still active, Cuba, of course, and it's the mystery of the number stations, that's for sure. Let's just try to go down as fast as we can. Frosty Gaming, never watched you before, but you seem interesting. Some just do it just to underestimate it. Yeah, thanks for being here. Where are you located, Frosty Gaming, just out of curiosity? Clovis says, well, you talk about number stations, so yeah, I just did. What else do we have? We're going to try to, I'm going to see if I can hear that number station here. Joseph Nusser, nice to have you here. Says, regarding UPS deliveries into Canada, I had a similar problem with DHL deliveries into the US. Later found out that their distribution in the US was operating under bankruptcy or the like. Yeah, that ain't a good thing. Jim S, nice to have you here. William Moser, nice to have you here. So where are you? Aerial Imaging, nice to have you here. And says, tuned in on a rare Saturday off. So what's on the radio today? We're going to try a number station in a few minutes. Liberator, is there a website or hearing by frequency? It depends what you're listening to. You could go, there's different websites. There's eibispace.de, which has my favorite schedules because they're very up to date. If you have an Android phone or tablet, there's Skywave schedules, which will tell you what you're receiving. Make sure you update it regularly with the new schedules, and that will give you some information. There's a few other websites, shortwave.info. There's even Googling. Sometimes just Google whatever frequency and what language or whatever you're listening to. Is surprising. What else do we have? Jeff King, nice to have you here, of course. Clovis, expecting snow in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Aha. We just had a snowstorm. We probably had like 10 inches here in the last week. Robert Osborne, 11780, Radio Amazonas, good signal, nice music. Always nice music there. It's one of the rare stations I will tune to for their Brazilian music. Bill Curry says, N8UUP, I bought the Weather Flow Tempest just after Christmas with some money I saved. It is awesome. Cool. Cool. Thomas Lane, do you know anything about the DX monitoring logbook software? Which would you recommend? I since I don't log on my computer anything, I'm not much of a help with that. But I'm sure some of you out there can help out with logging software and stuff like that. Jeff King says finally got the Kato KA1103, excellent reception. Couple of bad points overall. I like it very much. Cool. What are the bad points for you, Jeff King? Just out of curiosity. Frank Ireland also have a Lacrosse weather station. Not many features as yours though. Outside temp sensor seems pretty accurate. Range is amazing, and it is in the trunk of my downstairs, and it kept connected. The car trunk. Cool. Keegan has a Lacrosse technology weather station. Cool. Matt says, got an ambient weather station. I like it, but I don't seem to get accurate wind velocity reading. You know what? I will say one thing very fairly with those weather stations. Even the Lacrosse weather stations aren't super accurate on the wind readings. I don't know if it's because I can't. Mine is not obviously positioned where there's no interaction with the wall and all. But from personal experience, because I always buy the ones with the weather sensors that have the wind, I've never had really accurate wind or velocity readings. They don't seem to be that good there. There's something missing. There's something that's like not nice. Merrill. Okay. You know what? Okay. Let's do a little thing here, because I'm gonna really go fast to join the bottom of the chat. Okay. If I miss something, all of you hams out there, stay put and wait for my signal that I am up to date in the chat. And if you guys want to try contacts, and I'll try to monitor them here, we're gonna do that together if you want. I think that could be a lot of fun. We'll try 20 meters, and if it doesn't work, we'll try 40 meters. So how's about that? I hope you guys are okay with that. So hang in there and wait for my signal, and we'll try to set up something so that you guys can communicate together, maybe call CQ, and see at the same time if I hear it here. What else do we have? Matt says, I got training and I'm a weather spotter for the National Weather Service, but I'll probably need to rewatch some videos for when we get warmer and the thunderstorms and threat of tornado returns. Michael, can the MLA 30 Plus injector be mounted for 12? Not the bias T that comes with it, but what you could do, if you do get a bias T that works directly on 12 volts, it will work on a MLA 30. Because the MLA 30 antenna itself can be powered on 12, but the bias T cannot. So you can check out, because there are bias T circuits that you can build, or even bias Ts that are available already done, that could give 12 volts directly to the antenna. But do not put 12 volts in the bias T of the MLA 30, because you're going to just like screw it totally. Roberto Rojas, buenas tardes. ¿Cómo está mi amigo? Let's just go down. So if I missed out on something or I haven't said hi, please do so again. Dr. Sisab, nice to have you here. Matt says, it worked at a bookstore in the 90s. We would reship lost item, no questions asked, but also follow up on tracking when possible. Yeah. So let me just go here. Okay, guys, in 2 minutes, 6832 CW. I'm going to put this very low volume here. 6832. Man, it's the middle of that big smack of radar noise. I won't hear it probably, But if you guys can maybe hear it, it seems to be in the middle of the radar stuff. I didn't even notice. Look at that. Look at that big swat of noise. I'll still try it, but it's probably going to be washed out by it. I didn't even notice. So if you guys hear Morse code on 6832, it's the number station out of Moscow, Russia. What else do we have? Let me just go down here. So we are Dennis Bergitzi, 203 watching. Nice. Yeah, right. How much right now? 207. Pretty cool. That's a nice so technically unfortunately I don't think I'm going to hear it. Oh. Nope. That radar is probably washing it out if it's possible to hear it. So unfortunately. Colin, Scotland. Nice to have you on board from Edinburgh, Scotland. Going to buy an Icon ICR30. Just one word of caution. If you live where there's strong signals, it's not a good buy because the front end overloads like crap. So if you live in a quiet environment, not a lot of strong signals around you, it might be okay. Danny, Shortwave Radio DX, nice to have you here from Yonkers, New York. Let me just go down. I'll try to go down as much as I can here to join. I wanna make sure we can be real live. Yeah, that's also something that needs to be really placed in a good spot for sure. False trot, 80-meter local in Quebec is nice at times of the day. At this time of the day, there's also a network, le réseau de la détente, VA2 GCF. Yeah, I listen a lot to 80 meters. I used to follow a gang of guys from Quebec on 3765 that would talk all night. Daryl, well, I have a lot of these videos already online. If you look at all the videos I've got. Kato K1103, bad point, seems to only tune in 1 kilohertz at a time. Yes, that's the smallest tuning possible. Absolutely. Well, if you have an original KA1103, there's no DSP in it. If it doesn't soft mute, you have the analog one. So M12 in case of traffic in 18 minutes on 7732. We'll try that if we can and if I remember. Yeah, the darn radars. Doesn't matter much, Dr. Sisop. I think everybody's getting the MLA30 Plus now. Doesn't seem to be that much of a difference. I thought there was at the beginning, but the more I test mode here, the original MLA30 and the MLA30 Plus, the only thing they change is that the rating for the frequency range starts at 500 kilohertz on the MLA30 Plus. Yeah, it's possible if that blob could be some kind of data for military. It's possible that it's something else. Carl Icon says CW on 6832. So I would guess it would be there. I had the impression I heard something, but I wasn't sure. So what else do we have? Anasla received it using the MLA 30 Plus in France. Cool. Sal Morial says, I think I can copy something down in New Jersey. So, cool. Andrew Simpson, I can hear Morse on 6832 in England. So, yeah, you guys in Europe are closer, so you might hear it. Matt says, I have Morse code on 6832, but it's pretty weak. Cool. It's either a military radar or it's some kind of military communications here on this thing. It's possible. Tony Turtle, nice to have you here. Can hear the CW on 6832 in Michigan. So it's broadcasting. Pietro, 6832 CW. Yes. Hey, Tio, nice to have you here. Yeah, long time no see. Hope you are well, my friend. Hope you are well. Bill Curry and 8UUP, nothing on 6832 in Southeast Michigan. So I'm almost down the list right now. What else do we have? NS Norfolk, nice to have you here. Kathleen Alb says, what about the RTL SDR Sparty transmitter from New Elect? Did anyone check it out? It can do HF. Joe Malone, we get it in Central California clearly, lower sideband. So cool. Hey, I'm at the bottom of the chat. So anybody wants to do a ham test? 20 meters? Who wants to call CQ? Nissan Greenwich is hearing 6832 and Dublin. So you guys in Europe are hearing it, obviously. And Canadian Radio TV guy is hearing CW out here in the Western Prairie. So pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Really nice. Really nice. So anybody wants to call CQ in 20 meters? I am asking for a volunteer for CQ on 20 meter band. Okay. Need to have a little more wine. Dr. Sisop has nothing in the Caymans. You are watching the live shortwave show. My name is Gilles, located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and we entertain in talking about radio and having fun. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Matt's not set up for transmit. Jeff King, 6832 on the Cato in Jacksonville, Florida. Weak, but there. Oh, cool. Well, check it out, Keegan, if he ever would like to say a little hello. Okay, Alex Thornburg, give me a frequency, and I'm going to tune it, and we'll see if we can hear you. And if anybody wants to answer back to our friend Alex here, just check out what frequency you want to broadcast on, Alex. Let us know what frequency you're going to use. Hubert Major, nice to have you on board, my friend. NS Norfolk is in, of course, Virginia. What else do we have? What if someone plays copyrighted music on what? On if I have a live stream, I'm never going to play copyrighted music because they're going to block the video. But Osakama says 6832 perfect on the MLA 30 in Germany. So you guys in Europe are hearing it really, really well. Trimbali, Mr. Bell is going to be on 7230. Vojislav Ristojevic, nice to have you here from Serbia. 6832, very strong. I'm not surprised because you guys in Europe are probably hearing it really, really well. That doesn't surprise me, honestly. Here, if it wasn't for that big blob, I might have had something. The weird part is I think I'm hearing it. Am I crazy? I'm wondering if I'm crazy or not, or if I'm hearing it. What else do we have? David. Oh, you weren't there at the beginning when I said it, David. And for those that joined later, I have actually subscribed to a ham radio course that is going to be in April via Zoom. So I will have 4 weekends, Saturday and Sunday class with a Zoom meeting for my ham ticket and then pass my exam. So if all goes well, before summer sets in, I should be a licensed amateur radio operator. I'll keep you guys updated. I actually entered my info on the amateur radio group website, so I should be hearing from them soon for the class. So yes, absolutely. Jim Gordon, nice to have you on board. Been testing my H Sony S Shortwave 07, SW07. Similar performance to the Shortwave 100. Shortwave is much the same, but medium wave, long wave, much better. But beware the fragile telescopic aerials. Cool. Having fun with radio is what it's all about. It's the wine. It could be the wine. Who knows? So, did I miss Alex frequency here? Okay, I'll find an empty spot. So we're waiting for Alex, and then we could try maybe we could try a 40 meters after. Okay, 14,310. Okay, 14,310. Here we go, upper sideband, and here it goes. Listening in, 14,310. Not hearing anything right now. Jim, don't worry. I will not abandon the shortwave channel or anything. It will be an added content, I would guess. You know, I'm kind of halfway into creating maybe a new channel, and I don't know, I could call it the official amateur station, official amateur station or something like that, whatever, and do content separately on a new channel, or I would integrate all of that into here. I don't know, we'll see, but no, I will not abandon broadcast bands, that I can tell you. Shortwave listening is in my blood. Paul Robinson, nice to have you here. CW Russians banging on here in the UK on the XH data and telescopic. Cool. Cool. So nothing here on 14,310. Yeah, David. Actually, it's Fastload that sent me the link. That they were doing the amateur radio course, and via a online Zoom session. So I looked at it and I thought, well, okay, let's go for it. Actually, the fact that it's Zoom and from home is perfect for me. It's exactly what I want. I didn't really feel like going to some class somewhere. So this is going to be perfect. And so I'll keep you guys updated with all of that. Can tell you that. So some of you are hearing 14310. Hey, Ricardo, nice to have you here from Portugal, my friend. And it's Norfolk. Yeah, it's random numbers and letters. It's a number station, so they're not supposed to really understand what they're going to send out, for sure. Oh, yeah, Jim. No, don't worry. It will not change anything on the channel here. That's for sure, except maybe there'll be a little more amateur content, but it's not going to change anything about broadcast and all of that. Scanetti says nothing on 14310 in Rhode Island. I'm hearing a tone right now. Somebody's keying up. Somebody just keyed up. There you go. So Alex is N9YHF, which I did hear dimly. As I said, there are other stations I can hear on the frequency. Lee Turtle is hearing it. Sheldon Harvey sent the CIDX bulletins to Parik and James. Hope that you guys become members. It'd be nice to have new members with a great little bulletin every month. Check that out. I'm sure you guys are going to find it interesting. What else do we have? Yeah, someone's tuning. I can hear it here too. Erica Trell, bonjour, hi again. I had to go out for a walk before it starts snowing. City is having a blue light special parking ban starting at noon tomorrow. Okay. Switching to 7218. Let's try it out. 7218, lower sideband. So 7218, lower sideband. And let's see if we can hear some activity there.
Hello, CQ. November 9 Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, calling CQ from N9YHF.
We just heard your CQ, Alex, in Montreal. With that deep voice.
CQ. Hello, Jill. CQ from November 9 Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Really nice.
40 meters, CQ 40 meters from November 9 Yankee Hotel Fox out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and listening.
7218 lower sideband hearing. Mr. Alex.
One more time is QRM just up frequency. One of the last 3 years on the call time.
Hey, James in the UK. Nice to have you on board, my friend.
Hi, Kilo Juliet 4, November, Lima Bravo, take your call, NLP, you're about a 5-5.
Really nice to hear the station. So David says ham shortwave club. So far I know myself. Clint M0OXF of the Oxford Shortwave Log Channel, Future Joe, and another EA station EB1TR who enjoy both hamming and shortwave listening.
220. I'm going to go to 7215.
Pretty good signal coming in. 7215 QSY. Hey, I'm not even a ham, and I know that it's changing frequencies. I think I should be okay with the ham license.
November 9 Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Mark Cope hearing 7218 in Dallas. Vince Perrault near Montreal in De Montagne hearing 7218. Canadian Radio TV guy hearing your CQ on 7218. So now he's moved to 7215.
Very good call in Florida. I'm running about Like I said, I'm Al in Raleigh, North Carolina.
7215. Bill Curry. 7215. So I'm going to switch for a moment, guys, because 7732 might have a number station from Russia again. I'm just going to go there quickly. Check out if I hear in a minute the number station in Morse code on 7732 CW. Yes, it is. I'm going to do it like this. I like it like this better. So I'm hearing it on 7732. 7732, which is this is the Moscow, Russia M12 number station, sending Morse code on 7732 kilohertz. So you guys, a lot of you should be hearing 7732. Vince has got it. Bill Curry, weak copy in Michigan, 7732. Tony Turtle coming in real loud. So nice, pretty nice. Scannery says 7732, weak in Rhode Island. Yes, I heard the Elogial on 7215 from Alex and everybody. It's kind of cool. Matt says, I have M12 7732 in Colorado, better than it was on at 2220. Andrew Simpson received 2. Sal Montreal, weak in New Jersey. Michael Thompson, 7732, coming pretty clear in southern New Jersey. Canadian Radio TV guy, 7732, weak in Alberta, Canada. It's kind of nice. So this is an example. This one is Morse code, but it's a Russian number station. It sends out traffic. So here, 7732 right now says in case of traffic, which means that like the other one 20 minutes ago was preparing the spy and telling the spy to go and listen to 7732. There was another message there. Danny, Shortwave Radio DX 7732, week in Yonkers, New York, using his realistic DX302 and MLA30 loop. So it's cool. This is cool. JRDX got a good signal, 7732. Nothing for Keegan in Arkansas. Michael Thompson says, this is the first number I've heard ever. Oh my God, this is incredible, Tank. It happened here. You know, that's the excitement of radio. Number station 7732. So this is encoded messages for some spy somewhere. It's kind of cool when you think about it, that we're in the middle of some kind of, I don't know, diplomatic or government scheme of something happening in the world. We don't know what it's all about, but there's messages. So there's something happening, and we're in the middle of all of this, which is kind of cool. Really cool. When you think about it, it's really cool. You know, this is the excitement of radio. This is the real excitement of what radio is all about. You know, we might not know what they're saying. We might not understand, you know, it's just groups of letters, numbers, and whatever. But honestly, knowing that you're receiving a signal from Russia meant to some spies somewhere, you know, you're like in the middle of a James Bond radio movie. We're going to have a James Bond radio movie series. Really cool. Really cool. It's not very strong, but it's definitely there. This is really cool. Take care, Tom the Xer. Branson, 7732, very good signal. Tony Turtle, nice signature on the C-scope from 7732. News in Greenwich says in Dublin, 7732 is good. Michael Thompson, really going nuts here and being happy to hear it for the first time. Human 721, what could even be there in those numbers? It's anyone's guess. It could be a meeting somewhere, secret meeting. It could be some information about something they know about whatever is happening in the world in some countries and so on. Anything. It's anyone's guess. It's our imagination. This is the James Bond of the radio world. We are in a receiving, all of us together, spy number. So if, for example, I disappear from the face of the earth tonight, what could be happening is maybe you guys should be start thinking about the Russians did it because I was listening to one of their spy transmissions. Who knows? Sal Morel says this is really cool. Cool. NS Norfolk says S5 in Virginia, about 17 words per minute. Sample CIDX bulletin just sent to Dennis. Once again, February messenger is out. CIDXclub@yahoo.com. Why not check it out? If you haven't asked for a sample copy, it takes 2 minutes. You just send an email, CIDXclub@yahoo.com. Ask for the sample copy. Check it out. Lots of cool information in there. Great bulletin. You're part of a club also at the same time. And if you like it, it's really inexpensive. I mean, $10 a year, 25 3 years. And you got a bulletin every month. Tons of information. I have a utility column. This month I have the XH data review. There's a very interesting column, QSL, from Mickey Dalmage. There's all sorts of technical details, information, amateur radio information, Arctic, Antarctic DX. There's lists of DX programs. There's tons of info in there that is really, really cool to check out. So, it's meant for everybody, and it's a nice little bulletin. So ask for that sample copy. You got nothing to lose. We're not going to haggle you. We're not going to, harass you. We're not going to send you emails every 2 minutes. We're not going to spam you. It's you ask for a copy, and if we don't hear from you ever again, you're never going to get an email from us ever again either. It's no, there's no pushing. There's no, well, I am here live, like pushing the messenger, but I mean, there's no, if you don't like it, hey, so be it. But you got nothing to lose. And you can takes 2 minutes. Just drop a line and say, hey, I'd like to see, what the messenger looks like. And, it's kind of cool. What else do we have? RTM says 7732, barely here. It's in Northern California. Very strong in the UK, says M1MBZ. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Kathleen. Carl Icon says 7732, loud in the Netherlands. Danny says time to dust off the old DX100 next. So it's really, really cool. Matt says, I wish I knew about number stations in the 80s, 90s. Seems like they were a lot spookier to hear then. Yeah, same here. Honestly, I was part. I learned that number stations existed way too late in the game, and easily the first 10 years of my life, I didn't even know that they were there. If I had known, I would have been more, I would have listened more and tried to get more of them. And I mean, the Lincolnshire Poacher and the Swedish Rhapsody and all of that is spooky and weird at the same time, and pretty crazy. Putin needs more caviar. No, it's, you know what? The Morse code is saying, do not transmit sensitive message. This guy from Canada is actually monitoring us. That's the message being sent right now. Paul Terlecki, so says, put in jokes on 7732. Paul Robinson, no need for long wire tonight in UK, getting 7732. I don't bother to feeding it via the PC anymore, only numbers. Yeah, it's just for the fun. I mean, we won't get any clear message from this, that's for sure. But the fact that we know it's for some spy somewhere in the field, it's kind of cool. Human721 says, has there ever been a number pad thing found in a message decoded? There's something. So there was a spooky, weird guy that was called a Vanamoon at some point that had that information and kind of explained that there were these things happening with, one-time pads and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, when we hear about spies being arrested in countries, I'm pretty sure that somebody somewhere probably found one of those pads and could, but it's probably very time sensitive. I mean, if you find that pad in 3 months, it's not worth it anything, because these pads change all the time. NS Norfolk, 7780 is WRMI in Okeechobee, Florida. Bill Curry says, if they start sending 007, James Bond has defected. On a PL6, whoops, let me just go down. That's actually a good question, okay? Because, when I say sometimes we say something and we don't think about the how some people might not have a certain mode or something, and we need to explain it better. That's a great question. Frank Ireland says, how do you select CW on PL660? Well, there's no CW on the PL660. But what you have is a BFO wheel. So what happens is that you can tune that frequency, but start tuning the BFO knob until you hear the Morse code in this case. So you could just select whatever upper, lower sideband and just go with the knob and the BFO, and you'll hear, if you hear it, you'll hear some Morse code when you're off tune with the BFO. It's like, that's why I always say, if you don't have a radio with CW, you could tune off tune. So 7732, you don't have CW, then go to 7731 and tune upper sideband, or go to 7733 and tune lower sideband. Technically, you should hear the Morse code if you hear it. But in the case of the PL660, tune the frequency and play with the BFO knob to go get the tone. And if you hear Morse code, you're hearing the station. And that's it. And as Norfolk, the time on Wednesday is 0 hours Universal Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Hey, Joe. You don't need a class. The questions are standard till 2022 and available in many places. Oh, yeah, I know. But you cannot. The problem with that, Joe, is that without the class, they're not going to have you pass the the license. You have to go through it to be tested in the end. It's you have to. You can't just go and say, I want to just pass the test. They're not doing it. Dennis Bergitzi says, Sheldon is lightning fast. Receive my messenger in 5 minutes. Oh, man. Jim Gordon, this talk of spies reminds me of the clandestine radio station Radio España Independiente. They get their QSL 1 cent reception report into a PO box in Prague. The QSL eventually came from Paris. Wow. Take care, Sal Morreal. It was nice to have you here. Jean-Marc Letts, 7732, heard on the 20 SDR, very strong, S9 plus 20. So that's a strong signal, pretty good signal. Really, really nice. Yeah, there's some kind of weird drifting signal that I was seeing earlier. Absolutely. TVDXer, bonjour, bienvenue. Nice to have you here. And it's Norfolk used to write for the... Why don't you write again? You'd be nice. You could write again. What was the column you were writing, NS Norfolk, just out of curiosity? Were you the ancient guy, the guy that did the utility column before? Just, it would be kind of funny. And I was looking at your call and was like, yeah, you look like a utility guy type. Aerial imaging, getting 8764 USB pretty clear, which is the weather from Norfolk, Virginia. Let's check that out. It's kind of weak here, but 6501. Yeah, here it's 6501. So you guys could try 8764 or 6501 upper sideband for the weather. Maritime weather from Norfolk, Virginia.
31 north out to 32 north, 73 west to 31.
The X100 was my first real shortwave radio, Michael Thompson. Oh, it was very drifty. Very drifty.
Becoming southeast early, then becoming south to southwest 25 to 35 knots. Seas 6 to 10 feet. Chance of rain. Sunday. West to southwest winds 30 to 40 knots. Seas 8 to 15.
That's good, TVDXer, to see that the Sony 2010 fired up immediately. I'm not surprised. I mean, if you are careful, these radios are great. So CIDX Club at yahoo.com. CIDX Club at yahoo.com. I just posted the email, NS Norfolk. So NMN Chesapeake, Virginia weather 6501 8764 upper sideband.
Tuesday night. West to southwest winds 5 to 15 knots, becoming north to northwest 10 to 20 knots. Seas 3 to 6 feet.
3581.
North to northeast winds 10 to 20.
In what mode are you going to be on 3581?
Seas 4 to
guys,
feet.
just out of curiosity.
Wednesday night. East winds 10 to 20 knots. Seas 4 to 7 feet. Thursday.
Canadian Radio TV guy says there was a story at one point that a spy was busted hiding one of the one-time pads. Yeah, and a bar of soap. So I'm not surprised. Yeah, it could totally be possible. And as Norfolk remembers Havana Moon.
United States Coast Guard Communications.
What was I about to say? Bar of soap. I had something I wanted to add to that, and I totally forgot now because I was distracted. Anyways, yeah, Paul, the Number Station movie with John Cusack. I actually watched that movie. Kind of interesting. If you guys have Amazon Prime, on Amazon Prime, there's a series. It's supposed to be a kind of a comedy. I didn't find that much comedy in it, honestly. But there's a series. Let me just. And what's the name? I'm trying to find a name here. So, okay, Truth Seekers. It's Truth Seekers. It's an Amazon original series, and it actually features the Lincolnshire poacher. So it's kind of a comedy based on those ghost, the series where the people go into houses and feel ghosts everywhere and stuff like that. The Ghost Chasers. That's kind of a comedy based on that. And the guy listens to the Lincolnshire poacher in his house, in his truck. And so now I want to see the second. It's an okay series. It's not a great series, honestly. I found it to be just okay, but the added Lincolnshire poacher thing was kind of interesting. And at the end of the series, the last episode, because the Lincolnshire poacher disappears at one point, he hears it again, and the series ends with that, and it's like, okay, now I want to watch season 2 because of the Lincolnshire poacher. So Truth Seekers, if you have Amazon Prime, features the Lincolnshire poacher. So check that out. It's kind of interesting. House Radio Pirate, apparently on 6930. Let's check that out. 6930. It's not very strong, but it's there. Just heard something. So House Radio on 6930 upper sideband. And not very strong also, but Goat Cheese Radio Pirate on 4050. I'm hearing it a little bit here with music right now. 4050 upper sideband, Goat Cheese Radio Pirate Station. So you guys have a choice of stuff to listen to, actually. Erica Trell, you can only use a one-time pad once. Yes, it is a one-time pad. The Russians tried reusing one-time pads years ago, and U.S. intelligence was able to break the messages. That's why they're called one-time pads, because you just use them one time. It's the best thing to do. It's actually the best security. You don't want anybody to know anything. That pad should be used once, never again. You won't be able to find any. Why do they find a way to decrypt these messages? It's simple. Because if you use the same pattern all the time, the same encryption, once they find that thing, look at the Enigma machines of the Germans. Once you found how one works, you're able to understand whatever they were saying, because you could finally know, how they actually encrypt stuff. But the only way it was a very clever thing, though, because the only way they ever were able to find out how encryption of these messages were is when they found a machine, when they actually, boarded one of the German boats, and there was a machine. And that's the only way they understood how it worked. Because without that machine, it was super complex to actually try to decode these things. Maybe today, I don't know about how complex the encryption was on an Enigma machine. Maybe today with their supercomputers, it would have been easier to try to find out what they're saying. But I mean, back in 1940-ish, 1940, 1941, I mean, you had a bunch of people in a room trying to figure out what's the encryption in this thing. It was that. It was using the brains of humans, and it was really, really complicated. But once they found a machine, if you continue using the same patterns all the time, you find a machine. Hey, now we know what you're saying, and that's what happened. It was the same for the Japanese side. They had found a way to decrypt their messages. And I mean, that's a big, big thing. If you want to win a war, better know what the other is saying, because that's the way you win a war, knowing what they're going to do. Rufus, been waiting to write amateur license since April due to present circumstances not available. Pietro, 1933 kilohertz, UK, Gentleman's Band. Joseph Nussas says, I lived in Berlin in the 80s, and I heard them all the time. Was amused when BBC journalists and the like discovered them in the 90s. Everyone knew they were all over the band, and loud as heck, yeah. Paul Robinson, do you have the Poacher intro? Play it, please. I won't play it because it's going to block my YouTube channel. And every time I play the Lincolnshire Poacher, the guys from the Conet Project always flag my channel, and I have to fight it with them all the time. So I'm sorry, I won't play it because of that. If I play it, I'm going to be the channel is going to be blocked for monetization. Hey, cool, Michael Thompson. I hope that you found it really nice. It's it's one of those nice evenings and having fun with radio, guys. Hey. Really having fun with radio. Take care, N2NLQ. Terry Bendel bought the MLA 30 Plus, like you suggested. Have to put it together and try it out soon. You're going to be really, really happy. Keegan, W9JEF on 7191. Let's just check it out here. If he's still on the air. 7191 lower sideband. If I hear anything, we'll see. Music Man of Jazz. Well, now it's off, but it was 6501. Rufus has 6501. Nicely 76. Both weather frequencies coming in well. Chuck just has the sample bulletin. Here you go. Another sample bulletin sent to Rob. Cool. John Hummel Newell. There used to be a radio magazine dedicated to shortwave that used to talk about this. Yeah, there was a lot of those in the past, unfortunately. I'm not Chuck. Nice to have you on board. Bonjour, ça va bien, absolument. 7188.58. Let's see here. Human 721, do the pirates get transmitters? Well, most of them use regular amateur radio gear, and they unlock. Like, for example, the Yaesu FT450 here. There's, if you look on the internet, there's tons of videos and articles on how to mod the radio into transmitting everywhere. So that's what they do, and most of them use regular ham gear. That's it. NS Norfolk says the weather originates where I was stationed. U.S. Coast Guard still called COMSTA, Portsmouth. 5 kilowatt Collins RT220 transmitters. I'm not Chuck. Well, the next one here listed is in 2 hours, which means I won't be here. But anybody interested in number stations, okay, I'll share the link here. This is the page to go to, Preom. And here's the link to that. Website. Here you'll have the schedules of the ones that are known. But remember that there's a lot of number stations that, we have one-time pads. Well, we're learning more and more about stations that are one-time frequency and that's it. So there's a lot more out there that you could actually see on this webpage. There's really a lot more number stations that we think. A lot of them are using one-time transmitter. When I posted my video of the Morse code on 3224, I think, it never showed up again. I think it was an example of a one-time number station, possibly. Monitoring times equivalent today is Spectrum Monitor. Spectrum Monitor is an electronic publication. A lot of the monitoring times editors actually are in the Spectrum Monitor today. So if you want to check it out, you can go to the spectrummonitor.com. It's electronic only. There's no paper copies. That is, you can purchase each magazine for, I think it was $3 US, or subscribe for $36 a year or something like that, $33 a year. It's a very good magazine if you want, but it is electronic only. Can you receive me on 3580 CW? 3580. Let me just put myself in CW mode here. So I'm on 3580 CW. Okay, so if you want to try it again. Mark Cope, hearing 4050 in Dallas. RJ Dakota, it's now snowing and too cold to go outside to the work shed. You need to have radios in your home, man. KMZ76 4050 coming in fairly strong in Michigan. That's a pirate station. NS Norfolk, Goat Cheese, S9. Take care, Scanity. Jose Oriberto Almonte, nice to have you on board from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Extra as nothing on. I just missed him. Okay. And Starfolk says, when I was in the U.S. Coast Guard, one of these elephant cage antennas was located in a large field across the street from us. Cool. That must have been cool to look at. Daryl, nice to have you here. WS0H. Catalan, the beauty of wireless. Your stream video arrives in Germany to my Wi-Fi router, laptop, Bluetooth receiver, sound system over optical SPDIF cable. Sheldon just sent 4 more sample requests. Just having supper. I'll send them out a bit later. Have a good evening. Have a good evening, Sheldon. Take care. And don't forget, for you guys that don't know, tomorrow, Sunday, we have the International Radio Report. Me and Sheldon are actually happy to have a 30-minute show about radio on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. It's at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 14:30 UTC, and you can stream it with your favorite app. If you go to your favorite, Soundgarden, so on, just search for CKUT 90.3 FM Montreal, or go to ckut.ca, and there you can listen live streaming, or you can look at the archive and search for International Radio Report, a 30-minute show about radio that I am happy to be part with Sheldon Harvey. So why not listen in? Carl Icon, is CW allowed on CB radio? I used to have Radio Shack walkie-talkie with CW on channel 14. I don't know on CB radio what exactly is allowed. What are the regulations for CB radio? Because I had talkies. My first talkies that I had a CW key also on them. So I don't know. Paul, check spectrummonitor.com, and it has the same feel. I'm subscribed for the past 4 or 5 years now. It has the same feel as the monitoring times. You're gonna find the same exact feel. It's as good, as nice, as interesting, but there's no paper copy, and that's probably what's stopping some people. Michael says, can one hear CB broadcast using a wire antenna and a handheld shortwave receiver, or is special antenna required? Just wire antenna is enough. You just need to know where to listen to. CB is from 26965, which is channel 1, all the way up to 27405, which is channel 40. It's as simple as that. RJ Dakota says, landlord will not allow antenna outside the house. Too much RF in the house. That is sad. Wish I could put something up to listen shortwave. Try an MLA30 in a window. I think that could be your best bet. An MLA30 in a window. I think that would be your best possibility. So no CW on CB radio, says Chuck Yunkin. Yeah, it's possible that you can't. So AM and USB, like Bill Curry says, I believe in USA still only AM. Actually, it's AM and USB and upper lower sideband. In North America, because here in Canada, probably the same regulation as the US. It's AM mode or with 4 watts max and single sideband with 12 watts peak, which is permitted, which is giving me the nice possibility of a nice little Bearcat 980 SSB that I have here. So, hey guys, that was fun tonight, actually, and hope you enjoyed the show. Tomorrow there's a VHF UHF show. So if you are interested in what happens above 30 megahertz, it's on the other channel, which is the VHF UHF channel, official VHF UHF channel. So it's at 21 hours Universal Time tomorrow. And we're going to talk about scanner radios, VHF, UHF, and all this stuff. So hope that you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Every week I just look at it and I'm like, how can I talk for 3 hours? It always amazes me. We had a lot of fun. We tuned some signals. We had some great time. Thanks to all the hams out there that broadcast their signal and called CQ and so on for the show today. Thank you all for being great fans of the show. It's an amazing, and honestly, I'm honored to be able to have such a nice, have all of you guys just love what I do. Thanks for being great fans. Thanks for being here. See you tomorrow for those that are in the VHF UHF. And for those that won't, 2 times you can listen. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 0 hours UTC. Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 20 hours Universal Time. Thanks, everybody, for being great fans. Thanks for being here. Love you guys. And we're going to end with a special moment. I know that David in Barcelona is just waiting for that. We're going to end with Moscow Nights, of course. How can we not end with that? So Moscow Nights, for those that don't know what it is, the song that's going to play now was a song played by Radio Moscow just before the top of the hour, most of the time, before they had their, broadcast. So enjoy the Moscow Nights moment. Stay safe, everybody. See you tomorrow or this week. Love you all. It's really, really an honor for me to have such a nice following. Don't forget the Facebook group, official SWL channel, where you can continue to party when this is over. And stay safe, everybody. Don't forget about the Messenger. Great little publication. CIDXclub@yahoo.com. You ask for a sample bulletin. It takes 2 seconds. And just say, hey, can I just see a little sample copy of the Messenger? So take care, everybody. Stay safe. And for all of those that are out there, please, always pleased to see you, say hello, and have everybody around. Take care. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. 73 from Canada. And here we go. This is Radio Moscow World Service, broadcasting on 54 frequencies.